Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Alrighty then. Hey everyone, this is the Bible Guy coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Make sure everyone you're tapping that screen and sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations today with people who believe that the Bible is true. I'm gonna bring up my co-host Ashland. Hello, person.
Person?
Yes.
Hi, person.
Now I gotta fix the damn thing again. Anyways, riff for a second. Ash?
I didn't hear what you said. What? You were cutting out.
I said riff for a second.
Riff?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, if you're in the TikTok chat, make sure you're liking, reposting, tapping that screen, sending your daily heart me. Actually, I need to do that and doing all the things. If you're in the YouTube chat, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It should be somewhere around your screen. Hi, all. It's nice to see all of you today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired, Dalton. I'm tired.
Look at all the beautiful people in the lives right now already commenting and liking and hopefully subscribing. So good to see all of you here. Praise Doug, the Bible Guy is live. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that thing. Someone already said, howdy, Ashland. All right. We got our first guest for the day. My full-time shops. I'm going to ask you the same questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
And then question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
Almost all of it.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He.
All right. Full-time he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. I do not believe in the Bible full-time. Why should I?
Because I said so.
And
it's the truth.
okay, well, I don't think it is the truth. Why should I believe it's the truth?
Because it goes with everyday life and just the morals, like
the morals.
You know, Dalton, those times you stone all those women, those times.
Yes. Right.
That everyday life that you do.
That one and when they, did all the genocide and everything,
Don't come up here wasting my time. I'm here to talk to people who actually believe in the Bible, not people like you. Come on. People, do better. I don't want to talk to trolls. I want to talk to actual believers. Gee whiz. What a great start to the day. I don't know why people do that. They need their 5 seconds of fame, I suppose. So, everyone, happy Sunday. I hope everyone enjoyed the Unapologetic show today. I was up hella late last night, so I woke up hella late, so I didn't catch it. But as far as I saw, it looks like Blitz wasn't there today, and they ended the show quite early as well. So, wonder what that was about. But I'm glad to see that they still went live nonetheless. Thank you for the follow. Let's see. He left for a wedding. Ah, I see. He left for a wedding. Mazel tov to the person who's getting married. Let's see. I'll subscribe when Dalton stops fallaciously conflating hallucinations with mystical experiences. Jimmy, I know that you're actually cafe, and I know that you're still full of shit. All right. Mitch Vig.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Hello, Mitch. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
I would say like 3/4 of it.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. Mitch, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Mitch, why should I?
All right. So if you want, like, be jacked and not have so much face fat, more of a chiseled chin.
Fun fact, I was fat when I believed in the Bible, so try again.
If you want to lose some of that face fat,
I was fat when I believed
Hey,
in the
hey.
Bible. Try again.
Mitch,
you wanna be,
Mitch,
like, more of
Mitch,
a
turn on your camera.
Listen,
Mitch,
listen,
turn on your camera.
Woman,
Tur-
2 men are talking.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Turn on your camera.
Hey,
Turn on your camera, Mitch.
Oh, I bet he's hella ugly. That's why he doesn't want to try. Like, Mitch doesn't have any place to be talking about people being skinny or fat. By the way, guys, this guy is apparently a Bible believer, and yet he comes on here to make fun of non-believers based on
And
the way
be
that
a
they
misogynist.
look, and be a
And
misogynist.
be a misogynist.
Like, you are single-handedly pushing more people away from Christ. If your Jesus turns out to be actually the Messiah, do you think he's going to be pleased with you on the day that you stand before him?
I mean,
boy.
come
Shut
on,
up, boy.
let Mitch do it. Let Mitch lead people away from Christ. Come on, Mitch, you're the goat for atheism.
Oh, yeah.
You're ugly.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Mitch, you're pathetic. You're just absolutely pathetic. Like, you know for a fact that you don't have any reason to believe in your Bible, and people like me are a huge threat to people like you. So instead of actually coming up here with an actual sound reason for not believing in the Bible, you came up here to whine and complain like the little bitch that you are. Well, guess what? I have the mute button, and you don't get to just run your mouth like the little pussy that you are. So thank you for being.
I just want to tell Mitch though, I'd rather lick a toilet seat at 7-Eleven on free Slurpee Day than be near a man like you.
Oh yeah,
I know you.
I'm 100% sure that that he doesn't have a girlfriend, and if she is, she needs to get the fuck out of there as soon as she possibly can. But anyways, thank you for wasting our time, Mitch, and I hope bad things happen to you. All right. Just two bad actors right off the bat. Is this really what the best that Christianity has to offer? Anyone says, why should I listen to your live? Unproductive at best. Hey, that's not my fault, anyone. That's your people's fault. That's the fault of Christians. If I had good Christians who were calling in and actually wanted to have a conversation, this would be a lot more productive. But in fact, it's your camp of people that keep coming up and being poor shit examples for Christ. Maybe you can make this a productive live. Maybe if you call in, you can do better than Mitch, but I doubt it. Hello, Lou. Hello, Ashley Ash. Hello, Colette Alexandria. Cammy says, Jesus loves you. Fun fact, Cammy, dead people don't love anyone. Jesus is dead as far as all the data is concerned.
Anyways, I'm sure we're all much closer to Christ after those two guests. I don't know if y'all are feeling it, but I'm feeling that Holy Spirit.
It is really sad. Like, Talton in his cute hat, thank you. There is more empirical evidence for the existence of the tooth fairy than there is for any god, said Positive Vegan. Okay, we have here upside down question mark.
You said what? You should believe in God, right?
Yeah, 1 second. Where's his box at? That's weird. Anyways, question mark. I have 4 questions for you. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yes, I am.
And then question number 3: how much of your Bible have you read?
Most of it, majority.
And
I
then
restart.
And then question number 4, the last question: what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, question he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in your Bible. Why should I?
See me, I'm not gonna force nothing on you because God tells us we should love everyone as He loved us. Jesus gave unconditional love.
Sure. But why should I believe the Bible is true?
I should believe the Bible is true because the way that Jesus describes what has happened, and people say it's all scientific. How could we see Noah's Ark? It can't be scientific.
Noah's Ark didn't exist.
It did actually.
We don't have
They
any.
actually-
We don't have any evidence of Noah's Ark.
They just
They didn't.
discovered.
They didn't.
They did that.
That little mound of rock and dirt on Mount Ararat isn't the site of the Ark of the Covenant. It's a natural mountain formation. It's not even shaped like the Ark from the Bible.
Also, fire safety, y'all. Just fire safety.
Is that really the best you got? Is quoting? Oh, he disappeared.
He ran. I think he was afraid of fire safety. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
All right. We'll bring up. Let's see. We'll bring up. What's his name? Zeke Sancho. Hopefully Zeke can be better than the last 3 guests. It's not been a good start to the day. Zeke, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yeah, why not?
Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you actually read?
About the first page, Genesis.
Are you a
Didn't need to
troll?
dive in.
Are you a troll, Zeke?
Oh no, I have the recipe here for you.
All right. Question number 4: what are your pronouns?
He.
All right, Zeke, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Why should I believe in the Bible that you haven't read?
Well, I think you should believe in, are you an atheist?
Yep.
Okay.
So why should I
I
believe the
think
Bible
you should
is
believe
true?
in the good portions of the Bible because
Why? How would
Jesus
you
Christ-
know you haven't read the Bible?
I have read some of it.
You said you've
I've
read.
I've read the good portions
You've
of
read
it.
the first page, is what you told me. Did you lie to me?
Well, I have read the first page.
Did you read more than just the first page?
Yeah, but I was just being more specific with you. That's why I told you I read the first page.
Could you just be plain and not lie to me then?
Yeah, I'm not lying at all.
How much of the Bible have you actually read?
1/3.
All right, 1/3. Now, why should I believe in this Bible, and not just the good parts? Because I'm not gonna just I'm not one of those people that just half-ass believing in something. If I'm gonna believe in the Bible, I'm asking why should I believe in the whole
Well,
thing?
you should believe in some books in the Bible because the Bible has 66 books and some books are better than the other.
Your Bible might. Other Bibles don't have 66 books.
I have 84 in mine. Mine's
Okay.
better.
Well,
than
let me
yours.
get it.
There's
straight.
more
Let
of
me get
it.
for the record. For the record, the Bible. You should believe in the Bible because it's good. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, yesterday he was. If you talk about 2,000 years ago, he was a 30-year-old Jewish rabbi. Today he's dust and bones. So no, he does not the same today, forever.
Well, it's a metaphoric proposition that they try to hold there.
Are you just saying words now? Do you even
Oh
know
no,
what you're,
oh,
do
no.
you even know what
that's
you're saying?
that's in Hebrews. That's in Hebrews 13:8.
Lord God, please, if you are there, could you send your best for once? Just,
So do you just like,
half
do you
of
need
your
evidence
best.
or what do you want? Do you want evidence? Or
I'm
what do you
looking.
want?
I'm looking for anything that actually heightens the probability the Bible is true. as
Oh, okay.
opposed to just like some bullshit claims.
That's easy. Okay, yeah, we can do scientific evidence from NASA. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Colin Humphreys, the physicist that works with NASA, and what's his name?
I doubt he knows the science.
Gramey. His name starts with a W.
Here, let's. If
Oh,
we're gonna-
Waddington.
the
Waddington. Do you know
Bible.
Waddington?
Here, Zeke.
No, I'm gonna bring you scientific evidence
Zeke.
since you want that.
Do you think the Earth is flat?
I'm gonna bring you scientific evidence. This is not about the Earth. This is about the Bible.
Do you think the Earth is flat?
The Earth is a circle. I do not think it's flat.
Circles are flat. Do you think it's a circle or do you think it's a sphere?
Well, modern science says it's a sphere, doesn't it?
Do you agree with that?
Why not?
Okay. What does the Bible say? Does the Bible make the claim that the Earth is a circle or a sphere?
Oh, well, what subject are we on right now, sir? Are we in?
You
Like,
ma-
what are you trying to?
you're making the
Just
claim
jumping
that the
everywhere.
Bible
You're
is
going everywhere now. You're a
historical-
frog.
You've made the claim that the Bible is like scientifically accurate. If the Bible can't even get the shape of the Earth right, why should I even care about?
Oh well,
anything?
I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna tell you that the prophecies are accurate. That happened.
The prophecies. All right.
Yeah, and NASA has one that happened.
Oh God. All right. Try
Oh
your
God.
best.
So Oxford physicists, on April 21,
Quantinaut,
2025.
Quantinaut, if you're out there, you want to come up and give.
On
this,
April 21,
you're more than
2025,
welcome
they
I'll tag him in the Discord.
they checked to see if the red moon actually occurred on April 3rd, 33 Anno Domini.
Why are you picking that
At 3
random
p.m.?
Why are you picking that random date?
Oh well, this is in NASA's
No,
former
no.
physicists that.
But who cares what happened on April 3rd, 33 AD? What do you think happened on that day?
Well, the Bible on Acts 20:20 states that the Earth went dark, the moon went dark, and the sun the moon went red or whatever.
Okay.
So
but
this actually
why-
happened. NASA checked to see if this
Why
happened.
do you think that Jesus was crucified on April 3rd, 33 AD? Is it just
Well,
because
because
of a
the
red
Bible
moon that
states
occurred
so.
during that
The
time?
Bible states so. NASA went like they did their experiments.
Here,
and
at what age? At what age do you think Jesus was crucified?
age 33.
All right. Well, then according to the Gospel of Matthew, he
Mm-hmm.
was born in 4 BCE. You add 33 years to that, it doesn't get you to 33 AD. If you go with the Gospel of Luke, he was born around 6 CE. Add 33 years to that, and you still don't get 33 CE. So why do we
The thing
care?
is-
Why do we care about 33 CE?
That's not what. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. Why do you care about?
Well,
you're going far
you're-
out. You're like
No,
just
no.
jumping everywhere.
Zeke, I'm not jumping everywhere. You're trying to say that that April 3rd.
It's like you can search it up right
Zeke,
now. It's
Zeke,
scientifically proven
Zeke,
that it happened.
I don't care if there was a blood red moon on 33 AD on April 3rd because Jesus wasn't crucified in 33 AD.
Wait, how do you know that? Where did you?
Maybe if you had listened to what I just said, you would know why I don't.
Okay,
think
well,
that. You
I
make
get,
the-
I
so
get
you
it. I
said-
get that.
So you said Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. Then in the Gospel of Matthew, he was born around 4 BCE, 6 to 4 BCE, around the time that King Herod the Great had died. If you add 33 years to that, it doesn't get you to 33 CE.
Wait. Why do they have to be like accurate on their date, on their dating and stuff? Like,
But you would expect that from a historical document. I mean, if you're basically telling me, oh, the Gospels aren't, they aren't
say the
historically,
time.
they're not historically reliable, then guess what? I'm just going to agree with you. The Gospels aren't reliable.
Well, you can say that, but
But
I
you also
mean,
agree.
what's pushing you away from the good news, from the gospel?
The
What's
fact that
pushing
it's
you away?
not good. And also,
Oh goodness!
the fact that Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecies whatsoever.
Oh, he did, brother. Yeah,
Not a single
Jesus
one.
is your savior, brother.
No, he's
you
not.
should.
That's
you
a
should
nice,
pat yourself and
That's a
be-
nice.
be-
That's
be-
a nice.
uh,
That's a
be
nice
happy.
claim. Why should I believe the claim?
Well, because the Bible. Did you not read the Bible?
The Bible contradicts itself on messianic prophecies all the time.
I don't. Which prophecies? Like,
Here, let's test your reading comprehension. I'm going to pull up a passage from the book of the prophet Hosea.
wait, should I just give you the scriptures instead?
I'm about to do that. So, let's take a look. Where did I put?
Come on, man.
Here we go.
I have the good news here for you.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I want you to. What does verse 1 here say in Hosea 11, verse 1? Actually, read verses 1 and 2.
Hold up, I'm not. These aren't the verses.
I don't care.
I came up here to
Here.
read for you. I have the verses in front of me.
You asked me how, in what way are the gospel prophecies inaccurate. I'm about to show you.
So, what do you
how.
think about the devil trying to
The devil doesn't exist now. And I
to
want
prevent
now-
you from accepting Jesus Christ as the Almighty God?
Yeah, I think you're an idiot. Now, Hosea 11, verses 1 through 2 says, "When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. The more I called them, the more they went from me. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and burning incense to idols." What is this about?
This is pagan activity you're doing.
No,
Paganism.
I'm not the one doing the pagan activity here. That would be the people in the verse. Could you tell me what the... reading the Bible is pagan activity? Wild claim. Now, now Zeke, what...
You're lying.
Zeke, what I just read, did you even listen to what I just read? Did you listen when the Bible was being read? Or did you disrespect
I didn't
your...
listen.
Or did you disrespect your God by not listening
You're
to
lying.
when his word was being read?
You're lying out your mouth.
I don't think you could know if I'm lying because you haven't heard what I've said yet.
Man, do you have a clear mind?
Yes, my mind is much clearer than yours, Zeke.
Timothy 1:6 says, "Have a clear mind."
I don't.
You have a clear mind
cool
right now?
bean. Yeah, more clear than yours.
Are you sure? Are you sober?
Yes, I'm very clear. I'm very sure.
me
I
tell
know
you the truth now.
because I know
Dalton-
the Bible better than
Dalton.
you do. Yeah.
I wish that he had read Job 13:5.
If only you would be silent.
See me in heaven?
And let that be your wisdom. Zeke, are you actually interested in having a conversation?
Well, I'm here to tell you the good news, and you don't want to listen.
Zeke, I'm an ex-Christian. I know the gospel. You dunce. Now I need to know, are you actually interested in talking about the Bible?
Well, you should go read Isaiah 9:6.
I've read it. It's not about Jesus.
What does it say? What does it say?
Let's see. Have you read it? Here, let me test whether or not you read it. When it talks about the birth of the child in Isaiah 9:6, which tense is used to describe the birth of that child? Is it future tense, as in, "Unto us a child shall be born," a prophecy, or does it say, "Unto us a child has been born"? Which one is it, Zeke? Let's see if you know the Bible.
Yeah, I'd go with the second one. Second option.
A child has been born?
Yeah, that's what I'd go with.
So, it's not about a future child who hasn't yet been born when Isaiah said this. It's about someone who has already been born.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
No, Jesus was born
Hey
700.
man, Jesus loves you,
was
brother.
born
Brother, just wake up, bro.
I'm quite awake. I don't think you are. Jesus was born 700.
I don't think Zeke's prefrontal cortex has developed properly,
I think
or yet, more so.
No, you don't think, Zeke. Now, unless you want to make the claim that Jesus was 700 years old when he was born, that he was 700 years old when he was crucified, then Jesus, do you think Jesus was born during the time when when Isaiah gave this prophecy?
the creator of everything, brother.
Zeke, answer the question, you idiot. Was Jesus
Zeke's
born?
a troll.
Yeah, he was. I listen. This is the best. This is the best that Christianity has to offer. Apparently, this is so embarrassing, Zeke.
I have more to offer.
No, you don't have anything to offer us. Apparently, like you are embarrassing yourself on my
You're
live
fat.
in front of my entire audience. But thank you for wasting our time, you child. Okay, maybe we'll talk to someone today who's actually serious. I have my doubts, but we'll see. So far, every single guest member I've had so far has pushed me further and further away from the Bible. Hopefully someone else will be a better example than Zeke. So Tristan, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am. Yes, sir.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
Most of all of it.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He.
All right, and then a bonus
I'm a
question.
man.
Are you going to be a better example of Christianity than the past few guests I've had?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, Tristan. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Tristan,
Okay.
why should I?
So, if you just look at humankind, okay, you look at how we was born. You just from before your parents had you till now. Just everything about you, your DNA, everything about you. That was not just from your parents. That was God. God made you.
No.
God knew you before you were born.
What's the evidence for that?
That your DNA, the way you look, everything about you, that was from God. That
Nope,
wasn't just from
that's-
that was not from your parents. That
Nope.
was from God.
No, I received 23 chromosomes from my dad and 23 from my mom.
That's evolution, Tristan. Congratulations.
That's not evolution. God created you.
Okay, what's
You
the
are-
evidence?
you are created-
Phenotypical
you are
phenotypical
created from the image
expression
of
from
God.
DNA has evolved over time. It is an evolutionary aspect of us.
So let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe that we were do you believe that we come from monkeys?
Yes.
Technically, we're
Old world
ancestors of
yeah,
them.
our old
yeah,
world-
old
Now,
world.
let me
Old
let me
world
say
monkeys.
this.
we
Did-
are
let me-
apes. Like we are
Let-
absolutely apes.
Let me ask you this: Did Jesus come to down the cross for us, or did he come to down the cross for apes?
Neither.
Because we are
Jesus
the human. We are.
Tristan, the answer is neither. Jesus didn't die on the cross for anyone. He was just crucified by the Romans as a criminal. He didn't die for no one.
He. Okay. Do you want to move on from this topic? Do you want to move on to a different topic?
Tristan, I don't. You would have zero evidence to support God, and we have all the evidence in the world to support evolution.
Evolution. Okay. All right. Listen. Evolution is okay.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay. Yeah. If you are an evolutionist and if you are a
Hey, Tristan,
Why did you say that?
There's something called Project Steve. There are 1,500 scientists who are accredited in the field of biology. Just name Steve. They literally outnumber all the creationists that exist that have quote unquote doctorates, which most of them are like buying their own
Okay.
accreditations.
I'm
We
listening.
have the evidence for evolution. You do not have the
It takes more faith
to
for you
believe
not to
in
believe in God.
than to believe
No.
in Christianity.
It's demonstrable.
No, it takes.
Tristan, I know that
It's
you.
demonstrable.
I know that you love listening to Frank Turk's like talking points, but it's not going to work here. It doesn't take more faith to believe in evolution than to believe in God, because unlike God, we have actual evidence for evolution. We don't have evidence for God. Try to not use like online apologetics talking points. Just talk like a normal human being with us. Like, give us the evidence that God is responsible for like literally anything. You can unmute yourself now, Tristan. The little microphone button at the bottom of your screen with a slash through it, touch that.
Okay, but all right. I'm gonna say this, and I got another thing to say. It takes more faith for
to
you not to
not
believe
in
for you-
God.
For you.
Yeah, I know the talking point. Now let's move. Let's actually say
Okay,
say
so
something actually. Say
if
something
you-
true now instead of some bullshit.
Tristan,
If you go-
I can observe evolution in like bacteria. I can't observe God. So try another one. I can observe speciation in
Okay.
the micro level. We've actually observed it in like
Telling-
modern day times
Telling me
as
that it
well.
takes
So
more
I
faith-
don't know.
Telling me that it takes more faith to not believe in God than to believe in God is like telling me it takes more sexual experience to be a virgin than to not be a virgin. Like, that's a silly statement to make, Tristan. So try again.
Okay,
Like, what's the actual
well,
evidence
I-
for your position?
I've talked to many other believers, and I've
have I.
talked to plenty of people. So I've taught, even myself. when I was born, my intestines was outside my body. I died 3 times when I was born. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here.
That sounds
It
like
wasn't
it
just
sounds like
it
God
wasn't just the
put.
Gosh.
It sounds like God
Dang.
put you in that position. Like it sounds like you were like shittily made, and the doctors who were humans had to correct the shit design of your body. So it doesn't sound like it's evidence for God. It sounds like evidence for like evolution, and sometimes mistakes happen in the copying of genes.
You know, and those doctors, you know how long they went to school for, like, all this time away from family, for you just to turn around and think this invisible motherfucker in the sky.
It wasn't just the doctors. It was God too.
Okay,
Look,
prove it.
I'm not gonna sit.
Prove
I'm not
it.
gonna sit here and I'm not.
Here, Tristan, all you keep doing is making claims. I don't care about your claims. I want evidence for the things you're saying. I could sit here all day and just say, well, God did this and God did that, and I would sound like all my neighbors.
Oh, Tristan, you want to know a fun fact too? Because of the science that they use in medicine, it hinges on evolution. Because without that, most of these medicines wouldn't work, because they're determined by gene studies and things like this. So the literal medical field hinges on biology, which hinges on evolution. So Tristan, congratulations. You do trust in evolution. You just don't know that you do it.
All right, so now Tristan, let's try this again. Hit the unmute button. I need evidence for the things you believe, not just you saying things as if they are true. I need you to provide me some evidence that what you're saying is true.
Okay, the evidence. Okay, let's just go back. Evidence of the cross. They found that. I mean, they found. Okay. We know where Jesus was crucified at. We
No, we
know.
don't.
It's in history. Yes, it is.
We don't know.
Everything about Jesus Christ
know,
is in history.
at best, we know he was crucified in or around Jerusalem, but we don't know where in Jerusalem he was crucified.
Yes, we do in Jerusalem. My grandparents have been there.
There is a tourist site that people point to and say, "Oh,
that's where it's at."
No,
that's where
Prove
it's
it.
at.
Prove it.
My grandparents have
Prove
been there.
it.
It's not just a historical site, brother.
It's it's not a historical spot. It's a tourist spot.
You have lost your freaking mind.
Tristan, all you're doing is saying things now. What is the evidence that the tourist spot that they take Christians on?
That's where it happened. That is exactly where Jesus Christ was.
Prove it.
That's where it happened.
Prove it.
That is the.
Tristan, stop just saying that's where it happened and prove that's where it happened.
The proof is where it's at. You can read it in the Bible. That's the proof.
The Bible doesn't tell you anything about the spot that Jesus was crucified, other than it was called.
It tells you where he was crucified.
No, it doesn't.
At.
No, it doesn't. It tells you that the place was named Golgotha, but it doesn't tell you.
That's in Jerusalem.
We don't know where this place is. We don't know where Golgotha is. The tourist spot that tourist tour managers take Christians on, we don't have any good reason to think that that's the
let me
Golgotha
ask you
of the
this. So you think that these people are just going to lie and say, "Oh, this is where Jesus went"? You think they're just going to lie about all that?
It's a really good money making scheme. Taking Christians to spots where they think Jesus was is a very good money making scheme.
We could go get Elias, because he's originally from Bethlehem, and ask him how many tourist spots there are, because he's talked about them. There's a ton of them.
Let me ask y'all a question. Okay, what exactly do
Shoot
you
from the
believe
hip.
in?
Not the Bible.
Things with evidence.
Explain. What do you believe in? Because you have to believe in something.
Anything that has evidence. Now, does the Bible have evidence? Because I'm not going to let you move away from talking about the Bible. The Bible is what's on trial here.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So do you believe in anything in the Bible? Do you believe anything that it says?
Like probably 10 or 15% of the Bible, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I do believe that they were misogynistic back then.
If you believe in the Bible, then you believe in Jesus. You can't believe in the Bible and not believe in Jesus.
Jesus wasn't the Messiah or the Son of God. We have no reason to think that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, it says in the Bible, the Son of God. It says that Jesus is God. Okay,
No, it doesn't.
The Son of God.
Well,
He is the
yes,
Son of
yes, it
God.
does call him the Son of God. It doesn't call him God. Now,
Okay, let me ask you
now,
this.
Tristan. No, wait, Tristan.
Okay.
Now, the Bible says that Jesus is the Son of God. What's the evidence that he's the Son of God? Do you understand the difference
Because
between
because his because he
Tristan,
come down
I
he
wasn't
come
done.
down.
I wasn't done.
Okay,
Do
I'm
you
listening.
know
I'm
the
sorry.
Do you know the difference between claims and evidences?
That is evidence.
No, it's not. It's a claim.
That's not a claim. That's
It
evidence.
is quite literally a claim. When you just say something as if it's true and you don't back up with any sort of proof or any facts to corroborate that statement, that's just a claim.
That's what the Bible says. It is the truth. That's
Yeah,
not facts, but that's the truth.
Bible is the claim. Now, what's the evidence for the claim that is the Bible?
The disciples, that all of it, the disciples, that is
What about them?
the truth. They
about-
saw it.
Well, what's the evidence that they saw it?
Then what now? I'm listening.
What's the evidence that the apostles saw the resurrection of Jesus?
Because all of the accounts of the Bible, they all saw it.
So
Here, let's try. Tristan, do you believe, according to the Quran, that the moon
the
was
what?
split? The Quran, that the moon was split in half. Do you believe that?
I've never even heard about. Y'all are mixing crap up. Let me. Okay.
Tristan,
he hasn't heard
focus.
of anything that's not his own holy book. He's never
Okay.
he's never read another
Tristan,
goddamn book in his life.
no, that's that. This is yeah. I'm speculating if there's some reading here ever. Anyways, Tristan, the Quran claims that the moon was split in two. Do you believe this claim?
No, I do not. The moon's the moon. There was no.
Okay, so why would we believe the claims from your book if you don't believe the claims from every other book? Where's the symmetry breaker? How are you concluding that this is true versus the Quran is false? How are you coming to this conclusion?
Because the Bible is the Bible that y'all were reading, the NAS, the whatever version that y'all was reading earlier is false.
Wow.
Where
Tristan, you sound like an idiot.
Did he just call the Bible false?
Yeah, he thinks that. I guess he's a KJV only Christian, maybe.
Yes,
Tristan,
exactly.
Dalton reads.
Will y'all shut up for a freaking minute?
Oh
Ooh,
wow, okay.
I thought
Spicy.
Tristan was going to be a good example of a Christian.
Tristan, Dalton can read Hebrew. He goes to the oldest manuscripts that we have, and he's able to read some Greek, and I'm able to slightly understand some Greek. We don't just have to rely upon this translation. We can actually go back to the original languages.
Yeah.
So it's not about that.
Your King James Version Bible is poorly translated, Tristan. I mean, as someone who can read the original Hebrew, it's a shit book.
The Bible that y'all was reading, it does contradict itself. The King James Bible does not contradict
Yes,
itself.
it does. The King James Version Bible is a shit translation. I can
that?
I can prove that to you.
Okay, let me hear it.
Here, what does Isaiah 7:14 say in the King James Version Bible?
Do you want me to look it up, or are you gonna look it up?
Here, I'll look it up for you because I don't trust your ability to find the book of Isaiah all that quickly. Isaiah chapter 7, and I'll open it up in the King James Version Bible. In Isaiah 7:14, it says, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." You know what the problem here is with this translation? Is the fact that the Hebrew word for virgin, being betulah, isn't anywhere in the Hebrew. It says, "Lakin yitan Adonai," therefore will give the Lord hu lakim ot, to you a sign. Hine, behold, ha'alma, which means the young woman, hara, is pregnant, ve'yoledet ben, and shall have a son, ve'kirat shemo, and she will call his name Emmanuel. Not a virgin shall conceive, but the young woman is pregnant. The King James Version is wrong.
Okay, read that again.
Lakin yitan Adonai hu lakim.
No, the King James, not that.
Therefore, the Lord himself shall give to you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
Correct. Yes.
No, not correct.
He was born. He was conceived of a virgin.
No. Where does the word for virgin in Hebrew being betula? Where does it occur in the original Hebrew?
Dalton, there's like a little extra screen that's like zoomed in your face on the YouTube version, by the way.
Oh, oopsie. Wait a second.
But yes, Jesus was conceived of a virgin.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yes.
I don't give a shit whether or not you think Jesus was conceived of a virgin. The fact is that your translation of Isaiah 7:14 in the King James Version Bible is incorrect.
That's one verse.
Guess what? The author of the Gospel of Matthew hinges on that verse to prove that Jesus was actually born of a virgin. The problem is that the verse that Matthew quotes doesn't even say that the Messiah will be born of a virgin. That passage isn't even about the Messiah. Are you aware that you know the story of the adulterous woman? You know, Jesus wouldn't stone the adulterous woman.
Say that again.
Are you familiar with the story of the adulterous woman?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you know that in the oldest manuscripts of the New Testament, that story's not even in it?
Yes, it is. It's in.
No,
yes,
it's not. I can prove to you, it's not.
Nope.
Okay.
Watch this.
Tristan, do you even know where the story is located in the Bible?
The Virgin Mary, or the adulterous woman.
Yeah. Do you know where it's located?
Not off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look.
It's John
at it.
8. So if you don't know that, how do you know the oldest forms of the manuscript if you don't even know where it's located in the text? That's a big clue to me that you don't know what you're talking about. You're just making stuff up. Because I would, in order to talk about, yes, to talk about, not all of the Bible was written during the same time period.
Look at that. You see all this blank space right here, Tristan?
I see it. Yes, I see it.
Okay, these are all manuscripts from the first 300 years of Christianity, and not one of them contains the story of the adulterous woman. You don't see that story get introduced into the New Testament until around 375 to 425.
There's the Old Testament and there's the New Testament.
We're not talking about the Old Testament, Tristan. Keep up.
I understand that, but that's what you're saying.
Tristan, we're talking about the story of the adulterous woman in John chapter 8. You make the claim that the King James Version. You make the claim that the King James Version Bible is like the best shit there ever was. But guess what?
It is.
But guess what? There's whole sections of your Bible in the King James Version Bible that aren't even original to the original New Testament manuscripts. The adulterous story woman in the Gospel of John in your Bible isn't even in the oldest versions of the New Testament.
Yes, it is.
No, I just showed you.
How do you know that? How do you know that that's true? You can't believe everything. On the
guess
internet.
what? Unlike you, Tristan, I know how to look at primary sources. I've actually looked into this and actually done the research, and you haven't. So I'm the person who does the research, and you're some dumb inbred Christian over here who's just going, oh well, no, the Bible, the oldest version of the Bible does have John chapter 8. Well, guess what? The data does not agree with you, Tristan. Stop just saying things that you don't know anything about and humble the fuck up.
Dalton, if he says nuh-uh. He said nuh-uh.
Oh, is that the best? Is that the best answer you got?
Listen,
He said nuh-uh.
The holy word of nuh-uh.
y'all need to, unless you know what you're talking about. I'm not being ugly, but you need to stay off of here unless you know what you're talking about.
You don't know.
Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life.
You don't know what you're talking about. That's the problem. I actually do know what I'm talking about. I know that for the first 300 years of Christianity, the Pericope Adulterae, which is like the Latin title for that section of the Gospel of John, was not in any actual manuscripts until the 4th century CE. You don't know what you're talking about. I actually do. You are projecting your insecurities and your inadequacies and your ignorance onto me, when in fact you need to take a look in the mirror. Humble up, dude.
Did you
Be-
believe in God?
I
Be
used
like
to.
Moses and tell people
Why?
you're the
What
most humblest
changed?
man that
Why
ever
would you?
lived.
Why did you quit?
I read the Bible, Tristan. Unlike you, I read the Bible, and reading the Bible pushed me away from believing in the Bible because I actually read it with open eyes and an honest brain.
That makes no sense.
I know because you haven't read the Bible. Of course, it doesn't make sense to you.
No, what you just said is you read the Bible and it steered you away from God.
Yes.
The Bible brings you closer to
No,
God.
it doesn't. Not if you read it honestly.
Lord, have mercy, help this child.
Doug, have mercy, help this baby. All right.
Brother, you need you.
Someone
seriously
just needs to
need
have
help.
some mercy here.
Bye.
No.
What a fucking child. Nice try, bud.
Dear baby Jesus.
All right. We're going to move on to the next guest. God in film. Hopefully you'll be, today's Christians have not been all that great. Hopefully God in film will be a better example of his Lord. God in film, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions that I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
Most of it, all of it.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
I'm a he.
All right, God in film, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in your Bible. Every Christian today has only pushed me further away from believing in the Bible. Do you have any points to actually help me believe the Bible is true?
Honestly, I really only came on because I wanted to see where you were going with. You were talking to some guy maybe like 2 people ago. And you were talking about Hosea, a passage in Hosea about a prophecy that was fulfilled. And you never finished your point, and I just wanted to see what you were saying. That's really all I wanted, because
Yeah.
I kind of, if you don't mind bringing that back up. Do you remember why you brought this up? Just because I'm curious.
Oh, yeah. Here, I'm going to test your reading comprehension. A lot of Christians don't seem to have it, so hopefully you're different. It says in Hosea chapter 11, verse 1 through 2, when Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. This is the King James Version. What the hell is going on? I forgot to switch it back to an actual good Bible translation. Where did I put? Oh, fuck it. We'll just go with the King James for now. And they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Balaam and burned incense to graven images. Who is this talking about?
It's talking about Israel.
And when they left Egypt, it's referring to the Exodus, right?
Correct.
Because they sacrificed unto Balaam and burned incense to graven images. So this
Right, they were going against what God wanted them to do.
So the person in verse 1 is someone who's committing like idolatry, right? And it's not really
Correct.
It's not really a person, it's multiple people. It's the whole nation.
Right, it's Israel. Yes, the nation of Israel. Yeah.
When we read Matthew chapter 2.
Are you talking about verse 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Let's read it.
And we'll start from verse 13. And when they departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And there was until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I had called my son. So what's going on here?
So, I mean, it's pretty clear as day, right? So in the Hosea passage, Israel is considered the God, like they're the child of God. They're the chosen people, right? So obviously they failed. God chose them and they failed. That's why it says, and they were talking about how they were sacrificing to these other gods or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't supposed to do that. That's all throughout Deuteronomy, right? So
Hosea,
the law has been given to them.
So just
right?
be clear,
So
who is Hosea 11:1 about?
It's about the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm. And not Jesus.
All right. So no, not Jesus. Not until 2:15, where Jesus becomes Israel in a sense, because let me explain where I'm going with this before you get all crazy, because your face looks like you don't understand.
I do understand. You're going to tell me that.
So
it's not the literal interpretation.
Because Israel failed as God's son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, God literally used him to fulfill that prophecy of the children coming out of Egypt. That's why
that wasn't a prophecy, though.
That's not my point.
No.
It's almost like to prove the validity. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to get too carried away here.
Hosea 11 is not a prophecy. It's history. It's referring to the past.
Yes, correct. So we're talking about the children of Israel. That's what makes Matthew more, in my opinion, credible, because it shows that they're relating it back, like God is literally relating it back to his chosen people of Israel. Do you not see what I'm saying? Like, it almost adds credibility
In
to
other words,
Jesus' story, considering that it followed the same path.
It doesn't.
Right?
If all the author of Matthew can do in order to make Jesus fulfill prophecy is cherry pick passages out of the Old Testament that aren't anything about Jesus and then like make them about Jesus, it makes it less credible. Why can't
But
Jesus
see, it
actually
does make it
fulfill
about
prophecy?
Jesus. It does make it about Jesus, is
It's-
because if you
did
think about it,
Jesus-
through Jesus.
Did Jesus
But hold
commit
on,
idolatry?
Israel committed the idolatry. They were God's chosen people at the time. So Jesus, his death and his sacrifice, right, the Son of God, allowed everyone else to become children
Yeah,
of God.
this doesn't
So
make
instead of
Hosea-
just God choosing one nation, Israel,
In other words,
Jesus allows us to be able
in
to
other
become
words-
children of God,
in
aside
other
from
words-
just Israel
in other
themselves.
In other words, Hosea 11 verse 1 is not a prophecy about Jesus. The author of Matthew is misquoting it, applying it to Jesus in order to make Jesus fulfill prophecy. Fun fact, that's not going to fly here.
So you see it as a misquote because you
It
want
is.
to.
No,
That's
because-
so just the
no,
same
you
way
agree-
that I
you
see it
ag-
as
you
the
ag-
otherwise.
No, you
So,
agreed
Hold
with
on,
me.
my point is just
You agreed with us that Hosea 11 verse 1 wasn't about Jesus. It's about the children of Israel. If Jesus didn't literally fulfill the prophecy, and you can only make it to where Jesus fulfills prophecy by misquoting a passage and then applying it to Jesus, that's not very convincing. Why can't Jesus actually fulfill prophecies that are actually about him? You can unmute yourself now.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was muted. I was kind of talking the whole time, but it's cool. I guess you just muted me. It's fine.
Yep.
So basically, what you're saying is, what was your question before you?
Why can't Jesus actually fulfill any prophecies that are actually about him? Why does the authors of the New Testament have to reapply verses that have nothing to do with the Messiah in order to make them seem as if Jesus fulfilled prophecy?
So he does fulfill prophecy, and I'll show you a couple if you're interested.
Sure.
Right? It seems like you know the Bible.
I would love to see at least one that he's even fulfilled that's actually about the Messiah.
So go to, if you want, you can go to Micah chapter 5, verse 2.
Oh, you're not going to like where this is going to go.
All right, sure. All right, we'll see.
Micah chapter 5. All right. Here we go.
So you can read it. Go ahead, you can read it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read it. 1 second. There we are. All right. But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are little among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be ruler in Israel, whose origin is from old, from ancient days. So my first question to you is, when was Jesus ever a ruler in Israel?
It's metaphorically speaking. First of all,
so he didn't actually literally fulfill this. This is a metaphorical
I mean,
kingship.
he did fulfill it because
but
it's
he's not.
like,
He's not the king of Israel.
dude, he's the son of God. You really think it's going to be that simple?
I can
Come on,
make the claim that anyone's the son of God in order to spiritualize a passage. I could say that Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who was the Lubavitcher Rebbe, that he actually fulfilled this, and he's only he's spiritually ruling. So
basically, you're saying that because he wasn't a physical ruler over Israel, this wasn't fulfilled prophecy?
Yep.
That's your argument?
Yeah. Also, this isn't about the Messiah being born in Bethlehem. It never says that he'll be born in Bethlehem.
Where was it? What is it about, bro? Go ahead.
It's about how the future ruler of Israel shall come forth from the clan of Bethlehem. In other words, he's from the Davidic dynasty. That's it.
So the fact that Jesus was born in Bethlehem and is literally the Son of God.
Lots of
he's
people
the ruler of Israel. Is irrelevant.
Well, he's not the ruler of Israel. We have no data to support that.
Okay, bro. Well, what about the prophecies that remind me? You probably know in the Old Testament. I believe in 2 Samuel, they're talking about how the Messiah would be from the line of David. That wasn't fulfilled.
2 Samuel 7:14 isn't about Jesus either.
Who's it about then?
Watch, we'll show you who it's about.
Let's go, bro. Come on.
All right. So, for some context for everyone, God's about to make a promise to King David. What does he say? Now, therefore, thus you will say to my servant David, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I took you from the pasture, from following the sheep, that you should be my prince over my people Israel. And I have been with you wherever you went, and have cut off all your enemies from before you, and I will make you a great name, like the name of the great ones of the earth. And I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, and that they may dwell in their own place, and be disturbed no more. And violent men shall afflict them no more, as formerly. And for the time I appointed judges over my people Israel, and I will give you rest from all your enemies. Moreover, Yahweh declares to you that Yahweh will make you a house. When your days are fulfilled, and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up your offspring after you, who shall come forth from your body, and I will establish his kingdom. Well, first, Jesus didn't come forth from the body of King David. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. When he commits iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, with the stripes of the sons of men. But I will not take my steadfast love from him, as I took it from Saul, who I put away from before you. Now, the question is, who among David's progeny ruled from a throne in Israel and also built God a house, and who at one point did sin and God had to chastise him?
You tell me, bro.
The answer.
Go ahead. I'm curious.
Don't you know who built?
I want to see what you have to say.
Who built
you
the
seem
temple?
like you know better than I do. So
Who built the temple?
You talking about Solomon?
Solomon built Solomon was the progeny that came from the body of David, who built a house for God and who God had to chastise when he committed iniquity.
So your point continuing, the same Solomon who wrote Ecclesiastes, who basically said everything is meaningless except for God.
He didn't write Ecclesiastes. No one serious in scholarship believes that. Now,
okay, bro.
Now, 2 Samuel 7:14 is about King Solomon. When it says, I will be to him a father and he shall be to me a son, that's God saying that he's going to be a father to King Solomon, and Solomon will be his son.
So what's your point here?
It's not about Jesus.
It's about Solomon. So even the fact that Jesus came from the lineage of David is completely irrelevant.
Did he sin?
They just made that up.
Did Jesus sin?
No, he didn't sin.
So it's not about him, because God says about this individual that when he commits iniquity, I will chasten
that
him.
Particular part, sure, is Solomon, but
okay.
Overall,
oh, so the first half of the verse is about Jesus, but then it slips into Solomon. How convenient.
I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say here. So it's fine.
No, I know. I do understand what you're doing. You're just cherry picking the verses am I doing? That
I'm
you
cherry
think
picking?
Sound like as if they're about Jesus, in order to reestablish the.
Do you realize that two things can be true at the same time?
Fun fact: you can't demonstrate that this is about two different things. But all you're doing, I can do this with almost anyone too. I can point to a random person who wasn't actually Messiah. Thank you for the sunglasses. And then I can take passages of the Hebrew Bible out of context and cherry pick them and say, well, this was actually about this person, and because it's metaphorical and you don't have to read the whole verse. That's a very weak way of demonstrating. Am I allowed to ask questions now, or as soon as I'm done talking? That's a very weak way of demonstrating that someone was the Messiah. Now you can ask your question.
All right, so you clearly seem like you've read the whole entire Bible, studied it, and yada, 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 right? So after doing all of that, why is it that you choose to believe opposite?
I don't choose anything. Beliefs aren't choices. They're the natural repercussions.
Beliefs aren't choices? So
no, they're not. They are the natural repercussions of either being convinced of something or not convinced of something. And the reason I'm not convinced of the Bible is because I've read it.
God in film, are you sitting in a chair?
I am. Why?
I want you to get up, remove the chair from behind you, and then sit down. I want you to choose to believe that chair is still behind you.
So what is that going to do? What type of experiment is that?
You can choose to believe the chair is there even though it's not, right?
Of course. So that's a choice.
Okay, make that choice right now.
So do it.
But I don't need to, because I don't choose to do that.
No. Choose to do it. Prove to us that that beliefs are choices. Go ahead, do that.
All right. So basically by me standing and sitting in the air, what does that prove to you?
That would
you can't. You're not sitting in the air.
You're gonna be sitting in a chair because you're choosing to believe the chair's there.
You're there.
Yeah, okay. So I see what you're trying to say. So beliefs are not a choice. So then I rephrase my question. So why do you choose to? Why are you not convinced? Basically?
I'm not convinced. What is it about the Bible that? Yeah, the Bible's not. The Bible's not true, and it's not worthwhile of believing because I've actually, because it's full of contradictions, unfulfilled prophecy, and historical and scientific inaccuracies.
So, okay. So all of those stuff that I showed you prior to are unfulfilled, even though you just showed me how they were not even prophecies.
Yeah, they're not fulfilled prophecies.
So there's that they're not prophecies in general. They're just statements, right? So then if you believe that they're not prophecy,
when the book of
then
the,
there wouldn't
when,
be any unfulfilled prophecies
when
because they weren't
Matthew
prophecies to
when
begin
Matthew
with.
claims that they're prophecies about Jesus, and it turns out they're actually not prophecies about Jesus, that would lead me to believe that this book is not trustworthy.
So I just showed you how those prophecies are true based
not-
on what Matthew said, but
they're
you're
not-
choosing
they're
to
not true.
believe that they're not prophecies.
Because they're
So
not.
it's like, okay.
Because they're not about Jesus. That's why I don't believe in the Gospel of Matthew, because Matthew is saying this was a prophecy when it wasn't.
So you believe in evolution and randomness and all that stuff.
Wow, nice
right?
pivot, because you don't want to talk about the Bible anymore. I get it.
Well,
You
no,
wanna
because
talk
you
about
clearly
science?
don't.
We can talk
you
about
clearly don't
science.
talk
I mean, I
about
got
science.
I
You
got an
don't
actual
believe it.
scientist.
So how
I
am
got
gonna-
I got an actual
how am I gonna
scientist
quote
here.
the Bible if you
I
don't
got an
believe
actual.
it?
I
You're
got
sitting here asking for evidence.
Also, hi.
Hi,
How's it going?
Quantonaut. Good to see you.
Hi, Quantonaut.
So
Always fun to be here.
we got an actual scientist here. So God in film, if you actually want to pretend like you know anything about science, like you actually know anything about evolution, and like question it, feel free to ask your questions now.
I will say, evolution is not my expertise. That's more scientific snitch. But I am. My expertise is in physics.
Yeah, I would say that the nothingness question would be more up Quantonaut's
Yeah.
alley.
Sure,
We
and
ha-
I know the basics of evolution, of course. But
we have far more evidence for evolution and the Big Bang than for any of the claims of the Bible, God in film. So
we can actually see the Big Bang. Like
Yeah.
we can just go out and see it.
Well, okay. So now my question then regarding, because if you believe in the Big Bang, then you have to believe in evolution, correct?
You don't
They're-
have-
I
they're
mean,
one
not
and the same.
necessarily. Those two aren't necessarily.
Okay,
Those two
well,
aren't
so my question,
necessarily
is that
related
what
to
you
each other,
guys-
but
is that what you guys believe? You
God
believe
in
in
film.
evolution?
Fun fact, God in film. You won't be able to hear Quantonaut answer you if you keep fucking talking over him. So go ahead and respond to his question, Quant, that about evolution and the Big Bang, and you have to believe in evolution if you believe in the Big Bang.
Yeah. The Big Bang is more about the development of like the cosmology of the universe, while as life or evolution is about the development of life. Those are not necessarily linked together.
All right, now you can respond, God in film. Unmute yourself.
All right. So my question I was going to ask you, right? So if this is just something I'm curious, because nobody's been ever able to answer this out for me, right? So like, if evolution happened, why are we not seeing evolution still happen?
We do.
Like, so monkeys are
Evolution is
turning
still
into
happening.
humans today? You're seeing that happen?
I refuse that anyone's. I refuse.
It's
to
a very
believe-
slow process, but like
I refuse
But
to believe
also,
that
like,
anyone's
not-
never gave him an answer for this.
No. So my question is, are
does
monkeys
anyone-
still turning
Maybe
into
never
humans?
asked
Has
it.
Do
anybody
you
ever
have-
seen that?
do you have
yeah,
this
here,
one?
here, God in film, God in film. Watch, Ashley.
for it.
Do you have? Do you see this? You see this? This tendon right here?
That's not. I'm asking a question. Does monkeys
It's
still-
evolution.
are you
Yeah,
still
this.
seeing
We're about to
monkeys
talk
turn
about
into
this.
humans?
This is related to evolution. Do you see this tendon right here? On my
Okay.
arm. This is called.
I'm more evolved
This
than
is,
Dalton.
this is called the palmaris longus. Ashlyn doesn't have one. A certain percentage. Do you have one,
I don't
Quant?
think I have one either. I don't think I do.
Yeah, if you really want to tell, take your middle finger and your thumb and press them together, and doesn't look like you have one.
It doesn't look like it.
Why do you think that is, God in film?
That wasn't even the question I asked. You just completely shifted to something else.
No, it was. You're just.
You
too dense
said
to
we couldn't
understand.
see it. We
No,
couldn't see
my question
evolution.
was,
We're
do you-
showing you one of the aspects of evolution. So prior, when before we became bipedal, and we evolved from. I forgot which specific line, but this palmaris longus was used to
Australopithecus or something?
yes,
Yeah.
it was used to like grab, and it came previously from other ape ancestors and things like that. So you could grab and you could hold for long periods of time on branches. Now, as that need went away, the need for this trait disappeared, and now we're not seeing it as much. You can see the same thing with like wisdom teeth in societies where dental care is not as prevalent. You're likely going to see people have less and less wisdom teeth, because that can be a detriment to surviving when you don't have antibiotics readily available. We're seeing that
Also,
all
I
the
think
time.
So
being able to digest milk as an adult.
Yeah, that's a
so
really
that's-
good
those-
one.
Okay, so none of that is a species turning into another species. That's just like
If you-
our own
if-
humans,
if you wanna see
like
spe-
evolve.
The
like
whole thing is
there's okay. So my
it's
point
small
is like
changes
all of
that
those things you
accumulate over
mentioned are
time.
just.
What do you think
Okay,
I'm
evolution
pretty
is?
sure we
okay, hold
have
on.
seen
Godfell?
speciation.
Hold on, bro. Let me talk. 'cause
Godfell.
I'm saying-
Wait, Godfell. What do you think evolution is?
So can I respond to the original? What I was saying
no,
before?
I need to make sure that you actually even know what evolution is before we continue this conversation.
Dude, you're not even letting me finish. I was gonna
you
say.
can answer this question, because if you don't even know what evolution is, there's no point in like, we need to get that out of the way before we continue the conversation. Do you know what evolution is?
Evolution is the belief that, and when the Big Bang happened or whatever,
No.
life
No,
started
already
from
wrong.
small.
Already
okay,
wrong.
Go ahead. then. Go ahead. Tell me.
It's
Tell
not.
me.
It's not the Big Bang theory. It's not abiogenesis. Evolution is not the belief, but it is the observation that there's a change in allele frequencies from one generation to the other. That there are small genetic changes over generations.
It's not even actually claiming why it's happening. That's what natural selection is.
So
Evolution is just the fact that there are changes from generation to generation, which is obviously
Right.
like
So
you're
those
different
are
from your
cha-
parents. Your parents are different from their parents.
of course.
And
So
you,
that-
you
so you don't
extend this for
believe-
billions of years, and of course you're going to get different species.
So you don't
That's just-
believe that we came from apes?
We are apes.
we are
So
apes,
we
yeah.
we are apes
Yeah.
that just evolved apes.
All apes
So
are
all apes are evolved apes.
All
yeah.
apes, yeah.
It's not
All
like
right,
it's not like
so then
chimps
why
are less evolved.
why
We're all
is
equally
apes
evolved.
why are apes still a species? Why haven't they all just turned to us?
Because of certain pressures that resulted in those
I
species.
think I
So
think I
that only
understand.
so evolution
the,
only happened one time, and then the
Here-
No. I think you're misunderstanding. Apes are not like unchanged. Modern apes and humans both evolved from a common earlier ape ancestor.
You're God in film. You're like asking, I came from my grandfather, but why is my grandfather still here?
Actually, no, it's worse than that. It's worse that it's why did I came from my grandfather when my cousin is here?
Oh yeah, I guess that would be closer.
Because we didn't come from chimpanzees or bonobos. We and chimpanzees and bonobos all came from a common ancestor. We're all equally evolved, but evolved
It's
in
a
different
family tree.
ways. Yeah.
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 so that makes sense to you guys?
Oh yeah, all the data seems to
That-
support that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're free to believe what you want to believe. I don't need to argue that.
I mean, you
That's
can just,
just what
you
the
can
data
just
says.
you can just lazily brush off what we just said because you don't understand. But
It's
that's not going to.
not that I don't understand.
No, you
it's
don't.
just 'cause-
You don't understand. You don't.
Okay.
You just heard what we said and just like brushed it off. You didn't even like address any of the things that we said. That's
well,
so
you're
lazy.
sitting
Why
here
do you-
saying
here,
that.
I have a question.
You're sitting
I
here
have a
saying that
question.
we had.
Wh-
Go ahead. What's your
Why
question?
do you
brother?
think? Why do you think that chickens have the gene for tooth enamel when they have beaks?
Because I have no idea because they just changed over time. But how does any of that?
Yeah,
like,
so, actually, you're dead on the
they
money.
just
They
changed
do change over time.
a chicken
At
changed
one point
into
in time,
another
they
type
used
of
to have
chicken.
teeth.
Is my point. Like they just their species
Here,
as a whole
God and
should
film.
change.
Here, let me
Go for
put.
it.
You think that okay? You would say that black and white are completely opposite, different colors altogether, right?
Sure.
Okay. Imagine a color gradient that starts on one end with black and goes all the way to white. And this color gradient is divided into a million little slivers. Would you be able to tell any difference at all from one sliver to the next?
No.
But what happens if you keep going long enough? Eventually it's going to go from black to white, isn't it?
Sure.
Evolution is such a slow and gradual process that from any onward observer, it looks like, every generation is giving birth to the same, to use lazy creationist language, kind of animal that it's that its predecessor was, but that's because the changes in evolution are so gradual that it takes millions of years to see any substantial change from one kind to another.
That's not always true, though. So, for
Fruit
example,
flies.
humans can speed up that. Yeah, humans can speed that up. So, in the case of artificial selection, we can force evolution to go a lot faster. In the case of, like, look at dog breeds, for example. We were able to create different, not species of dogs, but, breeds of dogs very quickly on the order of just a couple thousand years, 100,000 years, 1,000 years, whatever.
So just to make
and
a
then
point,
and then
right?
also secondly, it also happens a lot faster for creatures that reproduce a lot quicker. So, for example, viruses or bacteria or things like that, those can evolve at a much faster rate, which is why you need a flu shot every year, because the strains change so quickly.
We actually do see speciation amongst flies in the lab setting that we've able to like quarter off a group of flies until they end up becoming a new species of fly that couldn't even like mate with the other species.
So what's your point here?
That speciation
So
has been observed.
we've
in the lab.
reproduced evolution under laboratory conditions.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying that they've seen a species transform into another species.
Yes.
Sure. To use that language.
And
That's fine.
what are these so-called species that they've seen?
I just told you they had one species of fly evolve into another species of fly to the point where Group A, the original species, and Group B, the new species, couldn't even like mingle together.
But they were still flies.
That's fine. It's speciation still.
Yeah,
Like you
so
understand
there are
that
different
but what you're
species of
saying-
flies.
you understand
What
that
you're
in order
saying
to
is
get
that-
something that wouldn't be a fly, you would need like hundreds of thousands of years of this process going
But
on.
okay, so my point, you're saying that we had a previous ape
You've just shifted
ancestor
the goalpost
that-
now.
well, because I'm
You
going
asked
back to
for
what you.
the
I'm
development of a new
trying to
species.
explain your logic to you. So basically, you're trying to tell me that a fly turned into a fly, and that's
A
evidence
different species
for
of a
evolution.
different species of fly.
But
yes.
it's still a fly. It's
That's still
a fly.
It's still
It's
evolution.
a different species
So
of fly.
can
That's
I-
literally what you asked for.
Yo, do y'all
You asked
even
for
want me
one
to talk? Or
species
y'all
turning
just
into
wanna,
another
like,
species,
just-
and we
just
gave
get
that,
a
but now
point
the
across?
goalpost
I
is
can't even get a
changing.
point
God in
across.
film, you're
Like,
refusing.
I got three people going at me. Like, what is this?
You're refusing to actually listen to what we're saying. If you're asking,
Dude,
you're still asking the question, but it's still a fly. I've already told you it takes hundreds of thousands of years in order to see a substantial change to where it's no longer.
So hundreds of thousands of years have already passed. So we would see, if it started 100,000 years ago, we would see it today, right? So based on
We
what you're
do.
saying, you don't see a whole nother species transform into something completely
Because
different.
that takes hundreds of thousands
like
of
a
years.
human being is different from an ape.
Do you think
We
this
are
is
We may
like
have
Pokemon?
small
Here,
similarities,
God in
but we're
film.
completely
God in film.
different.
Tell me
Dude,
what.
have you ever seen
God,
an ape
no,
build a house? Have you ever seen
God in
an
film.
ape?
What characteristics make something an ape that humans don't have? What is an ape? Tell me.
An ape is an animal. Like,
We're
it's
an
a
animal.
primate.
We're an animal, and we're a primate. So try.
Of course.
So try again.
We're
What
mammals.
makes us an ape? What makes a
You don't
what makes
believe the Bible,
what
so
makes
I
an
can't
ape an
really
ape?
believe
What
the
makes an ape an ape?
That they go on instinct. They move on instinct. They're
Fun
creatures
fact.
of habit.
So are humans. Humans are creatures of habit.
Okay, but we
happen
also
to.
have consciousness.
So do they.
We can,
So do they.
okay, but so they can. Why don't they overtake us then? Since they have consciousness, because they should
have
be.
you ever seen
They're stronger than us. They're better
They
than
are
us.
strong. They are stronger
Like,
than us.
So why don't they just take over the world?
Because they're good doing what they're doing. Why would they want to take over the world? They're happy
Because they're
doing
not.
what they're doing.
Because they live on instincts. There's a difference between
We've
human beings because
specialized
we
in
have
different
consciousness.
things.
So that means we have an ego. We have pride.
Their
And that's where
instinct.
evil comes from.
Oh, they definitely have ego and pride.
Yeah.
You don't. So you okay? So my
Actually,
point
they
is,
have a
is
much
why
better short-term
if-
memory
if-
than we do. Did you know that?
What's up?
They have much better short-term memory than we do.
Okay, so your point is
they have moral systems.
So, yeah, they have some mental capacities like that are better than ours, even.
Dude, okay. So I've actually I've been to Africa. I lived there for a year. I've seen apes. I've seen them up close. Like,
And?
trust me, I get everything you're saying. But if you stand next to an ape, they're totally different creatures.
They're not. They're not totally. Tell me what makes
They're
it.
not gonna
Tell me
ta-
what is it that makes an ape that we as humans don't have?
I just told you.
No,
ability to-
everything you've mentioned so far, we have as humans.
Dude, we can tame an ape. Can an ape tame us?
That's
You can
not
get an
that's
ape
not
as a
that's
pet.
not what it means to be an ape.
An ape is not
no,
going
here,
to,
God
an
and
ape will
Phil,
not
God and
tame
Phil.
you.
I'll ask you again. What is the thing that apes have that we as humans don't have? Name the characteristic that apes have.
Or rather,
that
every
makes
other
all-
animal, I should say.
Yeah, well, he wants us to make the claim that we're not apes. So what is it that makes an ape? And how do you know
Yeah,
that that's like...
what distinguishes apes from all other animals?
Yeah.
Any trait that you could distinguish an ape from any other creature in the world
My
applies
live
to
is
us
going
as
in and
well.
out. I didn't hear what.
What makes an ape an ape? Give me some characteristics that makes apes apes. And it can't be something
What,
that all
opposable thumbs?
it can't be just
Like, is that-
it can't be things that all other animals have too. It has to be something that only makes something an ape and nothing else.
What would make? So your question is, what makes apes different than us, or
No,
makes
no,
them
no, no.
different than other
Everything
animals?
What makes something an ape?
What makes something an ape? I don't know. Go ahead, answer that question for me.
Here's a fill in the gap. If an
Sure.
animal has blank, it must be an ape.
Go ahead and fill that in for me.
Well,
Well, we're asking you. That's the whole point.
yeah.
If I don't know the answer, how am I?
It
gonna
seems
know?
like you're
it's
making
gonna
the
make
claim
more
that
sense if you
humans
tell me.
aren't apes, but you don't know what apes are.
Go ahead and tell me what they are.
Well, no, I need you to concede that you don't know what apes are.
Just tell me what they are.
No. First,
You don't wanna tell me? I
Once
don't know why you
once
don't
you
like-
once you concede, then I can
Why
tell
don't
you.
I just
then-
tell me what they are?
Once you
brother?
concede, then we can name off the things that make apes apes. But I need you to hear you concede that you actually don't know what apes are.
Go ahead and tell me, brother.
Nope, not gonna do it until you.
Okay, so then we can change the topic and talk
Nope,
about something else.
We're not gonna change the topic. We're gonna stay here until you tell me that you either tell me what an ape is, or you concede that you don't know what apes are.
Okay, cool. I don't know what apes are. Go ahead and tell me.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. The things that make an ape would be, for example, we have opposable thumbs, fur on our bodies, forward-facing eyes. We can stand erect if we want to. We are omnivores. We have both the canines and also the herbivore teeth. We have the same exact chromosomes as apes. Quantum, what are some ape good ape factors?
I would have done just more of the ancestry. Like, we all descended from the same common ape ancestor.
We all have
The
fingerprints.
family tree is what defines it.
We all have fingerprints. 10 opposable digits. Okay.
Although, actually, isn't
All right,
the
so-
thing with the chromosomes that we actually don't have the same number of chromosomes
because one of
ours
ours
fused together?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can actually see the evidence of
Dalton,
like the ape chromosomes that have fused
I'm gonna
together. in our
send you something on Discord.
All right.
So I'm assuming that you guys don't believe that. Like, obviously, you don't believe in God or the Bible, right? But I'm assuming you don't believe that the world is spiritual either. You don't believe in a spiritual world.
No one's ever
or
given me a
spiritual
reason to
realm
think
or
so.
anything.
I
So you
don't think that's a well-defined concept.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because and the reason why
I don't know what it
asked
means
is
to be spiritual.
it's not necessarily you being spiritual, but there is a realm out there that is a spiritual realm, whether you see it or not.
Like
What is that?
ghosts?
What is spirit? Define
Spirit
spirit.
is basically outside of the body. That's the way I would like.
This Dr. Pepper
So
this Dr.
everything-
Pepper is outside of my body. Is it
It
spirit?
never had a body to begin with,
No, it's outside of my body.
but it never had a body to
This
begin with.
key never had a body. Is this
So,
spiritual?
Okay.
Wait,
I don't
wait.
think you
Angels
guys get what I'm
angels
saying.
are spirits. They never had bodies.
I could tell you that I could prove to you that the spirit world is real, but
I doubt that.
it'd be through my own personal
This is
experience. And
talking
you
about
really
Avatar.
believe
So
that.
Like
another,
Airbender
and
stuff.
that's
why I'm not
that's
gonna-
another way for you to tell us that you actually can't prove the spiritual.
I
If all you-
can because I've seen
you can't.
somebody demon possessed.
Well,
I've
no,
seen
you
the
didn't.
demon cast
No,
out
you-
of the.
no, you
Okay,
didn't.
bro.
No, you
I
saw,
did not.
You saw someone who was mentally ill under
No,
underglow.
okay, so when
you,
the per-
you saw someone who was mentally ill, and then they were subject to a placebo effect. You weren't able to, but can you actually demonstrate that this person was actually possessed by a spirit as opposed to being
Yes,
mentally
I
ill?
can. I can prove it. Do you want to hear the story?
Stories aren't going to be able to prove it because I don't know if you're actually accurately relating the story to me.
Well,
What
wouldn't
what
come on
data?
Yeah, I want something under much more laboratory settings.
That's why I didn't bother trying to tell you the experience.
Then don't
'cause
say
you're not
you
gonna
can
believe
prove.
me.
Then don't say you can prove it your personal testimony.
But
because
you can't.
That's
There's
not
no way.
because personal testimony can never, ever, ever be proof for anything, because you don't.
Bro,
all
could
it's
you
all it is
imagine-
a story.
Could you imagine if in science we were allowed to use personal anecdotes? So like, oh yeah, I'm trying to find the spin of the proton, and it came to me in a dream once that
So
this
isn't
is
that
the
really
reason
what it
why
is?
particles have this property. Nobody would take me seriously, right? And rightfully so.
You realize that all of history is just stories, right? It's just
No,
stories
it's
that
not
are
just.
all.
No, it's not just stories.
No,
we
that's
have
why we have science.
archaeology is a science that demonstrates that the facts about the stories.
So
about
science
history are
can
true.
prove that to you that George Washington was a real person.
Yep, because we actually have his artifacts. We have
Yeah,
We
letters.
actually
written
have
by
artifacts
him.
of the New Testament, but clearly you
No,
don't
we
believe that either.
No, we name
So
one.
it's like-
Name one.
Dude, there's
name
more
one.
original.
Name
There's more
one.
copies of. I'm trying
Cop-
to tell you right now.
Copies are not
There's more-
artifacts. Copies of manuscripts
But
aren't
I'm
artifacts.
Dude, you're cutting
When
me
I
off.
when I
without even-
said here, let me make it very clear to you. Copies of manuscripts are not artifacts. I didn't just say we have letters written by George Washington. We have George Washington's teeth, for example. Do we have anything, any sort of artifact that
Don't
demonstrates?
ask what the teeth are made of, by the way.
Oh God, it's gross. Would you have any artifacts to prove that the stories in the New Testament are true, or all you have is for a bad apologetic that believes that the number of manuscripts makes something more true? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Are you gonna let me talk?
Yeah, as long as you can give me some artifacts.
Yo, can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
Do you have any artifacts for us, or is your only thing going to be, well, we have a lot of manuscripts, because that's a bad argument?
No, I mean, it wasn't the fact that we have a lot of manuscripts. It's a fact that what we have are copies that were found nearly 50 to 100 years before the originals, whereas Aristotle, Socrates, and Plato, we don't even have stuff that was
That
written
doesn't
within
matter.
the original.
The
but
amount of
somehow-
time, again, I don't think Christians understand this. The amount of time between the event and the document is irrelevant within history. As long as we know where the information is coming from. We don't know where the information of the New Testament is coming from. They're anonymous sources.
Also, there's a thing in
Wait.
science where the scale, the weight of the evidence has to match the weight of the claim. So, like claiming that Aristotle existed, that's a very small claim because nobody's claiming that Aristotle rose from the dead. So
But-
you don't need a huge amount of evidence in support of Aristotle existing. But if you want to convince me that somebody walked on water and turned fish into and bread out of nothing, then there's going to be a higher requirement of evidence for that.
Ashley?
And Socrates had a historian write about him.
Xenophon.
Yeah. Like he legitimately had a historian write about him.
So, God in film, what do you got?
A contemporary
There
historian,
were
I
so
should say.
many like historians,
Yes.
not historians, but there's a lot of like kings that are actually well known to have existed that are mentioned in the Bible.
And kings
so
that, and
if
kings that
Harry
don't exist.
Potter.
And kings that
Harry
don't
Potter
exist.
mentions.
who are the kings
Harry
that
Potter
don't exist?
mentions England, and England exists. Does that mean Harry Potter's real?
Darius the Mede.
No, okay, bro.
Darius the Mede's
So-
not a real person.
Darius the what?
Darius the Mede is not a real person.
Where is that verse found?
It's in the
Where
book.
Darius-
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 5. It makes the claim that King Belshazzar, who was the last king of Babylon, and the son of Nebuchadnezzar, both which are false statements, was overthrown by Darius the Mede, but he wasn't.
You said Daniel chapter 5.
Yep.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned Barack Obama's in the Spider-Man comics. Does that make Spider-Man true?
Right. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson showed up in a issue of Superman. Showed Superman. His
Wait,
home
Spider-Man's not real? I've been having spiders
nobody
bite me
break
this
it to her.
entire time.
Nobody break it to her.
These spider bites, damn.
world. Let's see. Look at Daniel.
I keep releasing spiders into my particle collider, hoping that one of them gives me superpowers.
Go ahead. What were you about to
So
say?
far, I just got a bunch of welts on me.
Darius 531. Well, I'll start from 530. That very night, Belshazzar the Chaldean king was slain, and Darius the Mede received the kingdom, being about 62 years old. There is no Darius the Mede. It wasn't the Medes under Darius who conquered the Babylonians. It was Cyrus the Persian.
Okay, so you're saying that because this is in this text, then whatever, that this is incorrect?
Yeah, this is not a real person. There is no Darius the Mede. And also, Belshazzar was not the last king of Babylon, and his father wasn't Nebuchadnezzar, like verse 2 says it is. He wasn't even related to Nebuchadnezzar.
Who was this? Belshazzar?
Belshazzar. Belshazzar was the vice regent of the final king of Babylon, being his father Nabonidus. So Nebuchadnezzar's
You
son.
don't think that, you don't just, this is my thought process, I could be wrong, and I'll be the first to admit that, but like, you don't think that this could possibly just be a different name for Cyrus the Great? You don't think that's a possibility?
Nope, because Cyrus is a because Cyrus wasn't a Mede.
It says, okay, what version are you reading? Because my version says something
you say
different.
mead, I thought you meant like the drink.
No,
My version says something different. I don't know, like it doesn't say, it says that he's a median. So
yeah,
to me,
Cyrus wasn't a Median.
So is median? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
He was a Persian.
I got it.
Now, King Nebuchadnezzar's son, who is the one who actually took over his father, was Amil Marduk, who the Bible calls evil Marduk. Amil Marduk, and then Abu Marduk. Oh, thank you for the cowboy hat. Yeehaw! And then Abu Marduk was succeeded not by his own son, but by Nebuchadnezzar's son-in-law Nerigalesar. And Nerigalesar was succeeded by his son Labashi Marduk, who was overthrown in a coup by Nabonidus, who was the actual last king of Babylon, and his son Belshazzar was the vice regent, not king. So Daniel 5 is wrong on 3 points. 1, Belshazzar was not the last king of Babylon; his father was. And 2, his father wasn't Nebuchadnezzar; it was Nabonidus. And Darius the Mede never existed.
So let me ask you a question. It's not related to this. It kind of is related, but the question is, do you believe that every single time you open a textbook, everything in that textbook is going to be true?
If it's divinely inspired by God, it should be. But if it's just a human, if it's a human book,
hey, I never said that this wasn't true, because once again, I don't think that proves anything.
Well,
Maybe
but
there's no
normally we
record
don't
of
get
him.
our
But my
information from a
point is,
single textbook.
right?
so where do you get the information from? You just go online
from
and,
like scientific consensus, for example.
and the science never changes. Science is always
The only
correct
thing that has
100%
ever
of the
proved
time.
science wrong is better science.
Dude, science changes all the time.
I don't think you know what
The
that
only
means. God
thing that has
infinitely.
ever
No, it means
the
that
only
we,
thing that has ever proven science wrong is better science.
If anything, it doesn't. It's not like it changes altogether. What ends up happening is that the information becomes a lot more precise over time.
Yes,
Based on new
actually,
data.
a better way to say it isn't even that it proves itself wrong, is that it expands upon itself. So, for example, the case I always give is Newton developed a theory of gravity, the universal law of gravitation, and it works really, really well. But Einstein later found that it was incomplete, and that's why he developed general relativity, which works in more cases than just Newton's version. That doesn't make Newton's version wrong. It just means that it doesn't apply to as many cases as we thought it did.
It's like
So
if an
we
onion.
we didn't prove it wrong. We just expanded.
It's like if at the center of the onion was like actual like objective truth. Science is slowly peeling away at the layers of the onion, getting closer and closer to the truth. That's the change that's occurring. But it's not like what Quant just said, when general relativity was like first like discovered or invented by Einstein. It's not like we threw out everything from Newton. It just furthered our knowledge and made it more precise.
Yes.
And God in film, if you're looking for like some place to go find all this objective truth, you're just not going to. We have methodologies, and you have to study really hard and learn how they work and learn how to read them in order to start to understand the world around you. Like that's just the fact of it. You don't get some book that some mythical being brought down that can't get basic things right, like a woman's hymen or what shape the earth is, or like all these weird things. This thing It's accurate when thrown at short distances. That's what I don't understand. If you just pick up the book and read it for more than like just a chapter of Genesis, like I have so many questions with Genesis. Like why, like the order of creation, like how did plants exist without the sun? You know, why are there
Well,
two
also, I don't
different
even
orders?
I mean,
I
you
don't
gotta
even think
realize,
Genesis
right, like-
actually says that God creates time, right?
It doesn't say that.
Like
no.
it implies that time was already a thing before he started doing any creating.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so obviously, if you want to go to Genesis, I don't know if you want to do that, but if you really care, I can explain a lot of your questions.
I don't think you're.
So-
I think you'll give me an explanation. Will it be like correct? I doubt it.
Well, I mean, it's up to you to interpret it that way.
And I
but
don't think
know
it'll
that-
match the
Here,
data.
yeah.
either.
Let's test your knowledge. What does Bereshit mean?
What is your question?
What does Bereshit mean?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, if you knew anything about Genesis, you would be able.
So-
You would know. What does
No,
Bereshit
notice,
mean?
Okay.
no, notice how he
you're
didn't
just
say this about
asking
the
me a
Hyman
random
verse.
question. What is the Hyman verse? I don't. You gotta show me.
No, I said like 4 or 5 different things, and you're like, Genesis, I know that one. But the Hyman
Well-
one, you're like, nah.
If you can show it to me, I can explain it to you.
Really?
Yeah,
Here, Garden film.
Deuteronomy 22.
How often, when women have sex for the first time, how often do they bleed?
Hold on.
Feel free to Google it. Yeah.
What's the verse? You said Deuteronomy
Well,
20.
No,
we'll
Google.
get
Answer
to that in a
this
second.
question first.
Can you show me the verse, please?
Well, no, we'll get to the verse
That's
in a
what we're
second.
talking about.
We're going to get to the verse in
We're
a second.
talking. We're discussing.
No. Well, we'll get to the verse in a second. I want you to answer this question first. How often, when women have sex for the first time, what percentage of the women end up bleeding the first time having sex? Go ahead. I'll let you use Google to figure out this answer.
Please. Can you send me the verse, please?
No, you'll get to the verse in a second.
I'm not playing your game. Do you want to discuss the Bible?
Because you're dishonest. Because you're dishonest. If the truth was on your side, you could just answer the fucking question. You wouldn't have to be looking at a Bible verse. So answer the question.
We were discussing.
No, you're going to answer the question. Only after you answer the question are you going to get a Bible verse. I'm not going to budge on this whatsoever. So, what percentage of women bleed their first time having sex? God in film. Answer that. I'm not giving you a Bible verse until after you answer this question. If you don't answer, I'm just going to drop you and move on.
You can go ahead and jump to another person, bro. Because I'm not gonna play.
Wow. Just instantly caved.
Instantly caved. Yeah, dishonest. If the truth was on his side, he could have just answered the question. But the truth wasn't on his side.
I'm kind of glad because I didn't want to have another one of those talks with a Christian about what the hymen is. I've done it before.
Before we move on to the next guest, I'm going to read our first super chats for the live. I got 2 here. One from @HerbieShine1312 with the 10 pounds. Good day, Governor. That was a mixture of Australian. Hello, Governor. All the callers so far have been childish, weak, stupid, and lazy-minded. If they're theists, they should be ashamed of themselves and fear their God. If they're not, it's just shameful to be so stupid and rude. Agreed. A lot of our guests today have not been the brightest bulbs in the cabinet. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Sunday brings out the worst. Is it a full moon or something? What's going on?
It's church day.
Church day. At Judeus with the $4.99. I've heard you're a big Supernatural fan. Have you watched The Boys? Thoughts? Stay prickly. Funny you say that. I have watched The Boys, but right now, me and my sister are watching through The Boys. She's watching through The Boys for the first time ever. We watched episode 1 last night, and hopefully she gets hooked on it. And I've seen everything up from season 1 to season 4. I haven't seen season 5 so far. Lou says, "Oh my God, Dalton, I love Supernatural too." Lou, you know what? I knew we were friends for a reason, Lou. All right.
I only know about the super hell memes.
Super hell?
Isn't that Supernatural?
Nope.
Am I getting my shows mixed up?
It's okay, Quantanon. I don't watch Supernatural
God.
either. We can be on the same team.
My first ever tattoo is going to be that pentagram from Supernatural on my arm.
No, please no.
Yes, absolutely. It's the one thing that I'm sure about in my life. All right.
Okay, if that's what you want, I will support
It's
this.
a nickname for the empty.
Oh, they call it. They nicknamed the empty.
There's
Super
a
Hell?
meme that like they sent a guy into super hell.
Okay, I can see why they would call the empty super hell. It's good. I like that. CSTX aspect. I'm gonna ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 21.
Question number 2: Are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3: How much of the Bible have you actually read?
I've read a good bit, but I was young, and so I don't know everything.
Question number 4: What are your pronouns?
He and him.
All right. Aspect he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Tell me, Aspect, why should I believe the Bible is true?
Okay, so before I get into Isaiah 53, because I want to prove that it is not about Israel.
Okay.
Can you finish the point about the bleeding during sex? I have no idea where you were going with that, and I'm interested.
Fine. I'll ask you the same question. What percentage of women bleed on the first time having sex?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought I
don't
got
know.
I thought I got out of this one.
It's like what?
Pulled right back in.
60% of women don't bleed the first time. Is that what
It's like half. It depends on the study, but yeah, roughly about half of women don't.
And yet in the Torah there is a law that says that if a woman doesn't bleed her first time having sex, she is to be stoned to death. Why doesn't your God know about how female anatomy works?
I don't know. I'm a new believer. I grew up believing blindly. And then I went through a lot of hard stuff, started questioning God, and then doubted him. And then the church I was going to, they just kind of convinced me that it's more plausible to believe that God exists. And I actually have a specific.
If you leave the screen, I won't be able to hear you.
Sorry, somebody called me. I have a specific question about.
He keeps.
You keep going in and out.
One of these days we'll get proof.
Did he disappear? Okay.
No, somebody was calling me. So I told him to stop calling me. Somebody was spamming me. So I just had a question for Quantum. So when it comes to the origins of the universe, from my understanding, all the things I've heard on YouTube, and I haven't heard much, but either the laws of physics already
Keeps getting raptured.
That's funny. The laws of physics are eternal, or the universe is eternal. And I just wonder why it's more plausible to believe that the universe can be eternal, but there can't be a God that's eternal.
Because you're adding unnecessarily to the equation. It's simpler. The universe.
I'm also not sure what it means for either the universe to be eternal or the laws of physics. Like, if the universe was eternal, then also the laws of physics would also be eternal.
Yeah, we have direct evidence that the universe exists. We don't have direct evidence of God existing. So what would be more likely is that the universe would be eternal, because we actually have direct evidence of that, as opposed to a deity.
Okay, so can we agree? And I'm not trying to like catch you up in your logic. I'm just genuinely curious.
Sure,
if the universe is eternal, wouldn't that make the universe God?
No.
I don't think the universe has a mind.
Okay, well then why?
There's
Okay,
more to being a God than being eternal.
I mean, if that's how you want to define it, and if you want to say, "Oh, God is the universe," then I have no problem with that. I just don't think that's what people mean by when they say a God.
Yeah, you could be a pantheist. That's fine.
That's what I'm.
But
what I was just.
Yeah, but we don't have any evidence that the universe has a mind. So
and like I don't if like that's what you want to call God is the universe, we don't have anything to disagree with. We just don't call it the same thing. We're just using different language.
No, that's not. I was just curious,
Yeah.
like why it's more plausible to believe that the universe can be eternal, but we can't have an eternal being that
Because the being hasn't been demonstrated to exist.
made a universe.
Because it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we don't have direct evidence that the universe crunches, and so if the universe was eternal, that would mean it would expand, crunch, expand, crunch.
No, the
Well,
current
And
we
Desi
actually
data.
kind of do. We
Yeah.
do have some evidence that it might.
Yeah,
We
go
have
ahead,
the
Coleman.
DESI data.
Yeah.
what, that the universe like is expanding right now and it's slowing down, and so therefore it must crunch on itself.
Not must, but it's evidence. That's the whole thing. We have
Mm.
reason to suspect that it might.
Okay, so we have reason, and just like in my understand or my way of thinking, I have reason to believe that a universe that
Evidence
is here.
specifically,
Yeah.
like
But
verifiable
but it
data-driven
doesn't
evidence.
prove that the universe crunches
Well, you
on
don't
itself.
you
It
don't
just
prove
suggests.
anything in science. You gather
Well,
evidence, and then you see where the evidence takes you.
okay, so if the time slowing down suggests that there is a crunch, then a universe could suggest that there is a God. That's just my
Well,
way
no,
of thinking.
that doesn't follow.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see the logical chain in that.
Okay, well I see it, and so but anyways,
Well,
we can move on to Isaiah 53.
sure.
So
I mean,
wait.
I would like to drive home that point more.
Well, that's
If you
my,
see a
what my
chain that
point
I
is.
don't, I'd love to dig into
How
that.
how do you jump from universe exists, therefore there must be a God? I don't see that.
I just don't see how nothing can come from something,
That's not the
or
scientific.
We
something
don't
can
think
come from
that.
nothing.
That's not our position.
Something can come from
That's not
nothing.
that's not our
Okay,
position.
so if we agree that the universe is eternal, then there must be something that created this eternal universe.
No,
I
that's what
I
makes it
That's
think that
eternal.
it's
that's a
actually
contradiction, CS.
yeah.
Here,
If it's
if-
eternal, then there was no point in which it's created.
You just replace the word
Okay, yeah,
universe
y'all
with
are right, y'all are
God.
right. I misspoke.
Yeah,
I misspoke. Y'all are right. I misspoke. Yeah, I misspoke. But anyways, I mean, there ain't nothing else I'm trying to like wrap y'all up in or trap y'all in logic. I was just genuinely curious what he said. He was an expert in physics. I just wanted to know his opinion.
More than an opinion, it's data-driven facts.
I
but,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, the time slowing down does not provide evidence. It's a suggestion that the universe
Well,
crunches
that's
on
what
itself.
evidence means. Evidence is not the same thing as proof.
Wait, what? I don't understand how you have like nothing to show that God exists, but as soon as we provide you evidence for science, you find the like biggest microscope and question the shit out of it. Like, why don't you do that to your own beliefs?
No, I have done that to my belief, and that's why I'm going to prove to you Isaiah 53 is about Jesus. But
Good luck.
it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I mean, yeah.
I'll let
but
you take
it doesn't
that
make it doesn't make sense to me how a time crunch, time slowing
Big
down
crunch.
suggests a crunch.
It's
doesn't,
not time slowing down.
or the speed of which the universe is accelerating. I'm not
Sure.
articulating very well. I'm
Sure,
not an
sure.
expert
No, it
on
gives us
debating
reason
it.
to suspect that the universe might lead to a crunch. The whole
Yes.
point is that I'm just saying that it's a plausible thing given the data.
Yeah, and
It is a
I
plausible
personally
conclusion.
just think that it's plausible that God created the universe.
Nope, it's not
But
plausible
I don't see
until
the
there's-
data that leads to that.
Yeah, there has to
Okay,
be
but that's your
some
opinion.
No, no,
That's
that's
your
not. It's not his
opinion.
opinion.
I'm not here to.
You've given us no data.
That's my
to
opinion.
support.
That's my
You've
opinion.
given us no data to support that a God could be responsible for anything.
Thank you for the gift to Dalton.
Yeah.
I didn't see who it is, but if you want to own, oh yeah, Parker. I was like, I think it was Parker. Thank you, Parker.
Okay, so can you prove to me how Isaiah 53 is about Israel?
Well, no,
Because
prove
if
to
you'll
me,
give me a
prove
few
to me
minutes,
that's
I-
about
okay.
Jesus, because the consensus of the
Okay,
on scholarship
I'll
is
do
that
that.
it's about Israel. So you had to demonstrate that it's about Jesus.
Okay, the like Christian scholars actually believe it's about Jesus. I have a systemic theology book right in front of me.
Okay, but the
And I can.
consensus of scholars disagree with you. So
Okay, do you want to read all of Isaiah 53 in ESV, or do you want me to?
why would I do ESV? I'm going to read from the actual. I'm going to read from the Revised Jewish Publication Society translation, with the original Hebrew next to it. So, what in the text would lead us to believe that this is anyone other than Israel?
So can I read it or no?
The whole thing? No, just tell me what the text. What in the text would lead us to believe it's about the Messiah? Pretend that you and I are two Jewish
Okay,
people
I'll
living
admit-
100 years before
I'll sum it up.
Jesus. What in the text would lead me to believe this is about the Messiah?
Okay, so if I can't read all of Isaiah 53, you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to just kind of cherry pick, like you said to an earlier guest, and I I don't want to cherry pick, but if that's what I have to do,
It won't be cherry
it
picking.
says right
Just
here.
show me what verse leads me to believe this is about
It says
Jesus.
okay. It says be-
If you're
verse
gonna start, can you start where this actually begins, which would be in Isaiah 52?
well, actually, it begins in Isaiah 42.
Well, technically,
But that's what I'm gonna
technically
get
it begins in Isaiah 40 because that's where second Isaiah
Well,
actually
technically,
starts.
it begins in Isaiah 1.
Well, this
actually, no.
specific
Actually, no. It doesn't start in Isaiah 1 because Isaiah chapters 40 through 56 was written by a different author than Isaiah chapters 1 through
I
39.
know. I was joking. But anyway,
You know what I'm talking about, Dalton, right?
Yeah, 52:13.
so I'm actually gonna
Yeah.
go through and we can go to Isaiah 44, but I'm not. I have highlighted what I wanted to specifically like talk to you about. But disregarding all of Isaiah 53, just the end, Isaiah 53:12. Therefore, I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. He bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors.
Yep.
Okay, so the reason. Okay. So if that is about Israel, Israel is bearing the sins for many. Israel is Israel's redeemer. First of all, that doesn't make sense.
Well,
Second of all, I'm going to read through Isaiah.
wait. It does if you recognize that not all Israels are an equal playing field. That you understand the theology of the righteous remnant, right?
No, but it doesn't make sense to me how
Wait,
a
wait.
nation can redeem itself.
Well, you have to understand the concept of the righteous remnant, which is a concept not only in the book of Isaiah but even in the New Testament. It talks about how the fact that
Okay, hold on.
within
I'm gonna
every
look it up for-
within every generation of Israel, there is a righteous remnant within Israel amongst all the wicked of Israel.
Okay, I'm gonna when I get off this live, I'm gonna read about that. You said righteous remnant.
Yep, the righteous remnant.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna read about that later. But my point of Isaiah 42 to 53, here is highlighted where God is saying He is the only one that can redeem the sins of Israel, not Israel as like can redeem themselves. And so Isaiah 42:24, and I'm not gonna just say the verse unless you want me to, but I'll just read it very quickly. Who gave up Jacob to the looter and Israel to the plunderers? Was it not the Lord against whom we have sinned, in whose ways they would not walk, in whose law they would not obey? So he poured on him the heat of his anger and the might of battle. It said, blah, blah, blah.
All right. How does that lead us to believe that
Isaiah
Isaiah 53 is
44:22,
about anyone else besides Israel?
I'm going to read so I highlighted the verses, Isaiah 42 to 53, where God says only he can redeem the sins of Israel, not Israel
Here,
can
give me
redeem
the
themselves.
verse. I'll read
So
it myself.
I'm just going to,
For everyone to see on the screen.
okay. This is Isaiah 44:22.
All right, Isaiah 44. I'm gonna open it up on the screen.
Oh yeah, this is like, I could stop right here, but I'm not going to. There's a few more that we can read, but Isaiah 44:22.
Let's see.
And read the English. Don't read the Hebrew because, like, I mean,
Well, we're gonna
you may be
we're gonna
telling
get
the
we're
truth.
gonna get into Hebrew, and if you want to question
Well,
whether or
read
not,
the English because
and you want to question,
254 people can't understand Hebrew. So
well, if I need to talk about the Hebrew, I'm going to. You're not gonna be able to stop me. So, I wiped away your sins like a cloud, your transgressions like mist. Come back to me, for I redeem you. All right, and
Wait.
I redeem you.
yeah, does that say,
Remember
I
these
alone
things.
redeem
Oh,
you?
hold on. Let's start at 21. Remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, for you are my servant. I formed you. You are my servant. O Israel, do not forget me. I have swept away your transgressions like a cloud. So if it's talking about that and that, like, I don't get what you're saying. Like, it's clearly saying
The servant is Israel.
I'm not a
Okay,
Bible
okay.
expert, that it sounds like he's talking about Israel.
Okay, well, with your logic, is he the only one that can redeem you? Well, is Israel the only servant?
No,
Jesus could be the servant.
Well, no, he can't be because again, the
He
Israel.
obviously can.
No, he can't because Israel because Jesus left way too late for this to be about him. The servant suffering is not something that occurs in the future. It's something that occurred in the past from the perspective of the
Well,
author.
there's something called typology.
Wait,
and that's-
did Jesus sin?
no, he
Or are
didn't.
you saying that this isn't Jesus?
Oh,
that
that's
this
the
is
thing,
Israel?
though. That's the thing, though. All throughout Isaiah 42:53, it's talking about how Israel has sinned, and that is why they need a redeemer, and therefore Jesus is that redeemer. So how can Israel sin and then go and then redeem themselves?
Because remember what I said about the righteous remnant?
Yes, I haven't read about that though. So you're
Okay.
gonna either have to elaborate. Or you're
But
just gonna have to give it to me.
that's really that if he's also a suffering servant, is that what you're saying? Because at
Jesus is the
at
suffering
50,
servant. Okay, all right. Can I finish the highlighted points?
so
and then we
no,
can
it would
talk?
have to be both
Justin
then.
is here. Hi, Justin.
It would have to be both because we
What
just
would have
saw
to be both?
the suffering servant would have to be both Israel and Jesus according to the way that you're framing this. Because you just gave us a passage where prior to this it says, "O Jacob, O Israel," and then goes on about God being able to save them from the iniquities, right? And it would have to be both because you just gave us a passage that said it was also Israel.
No, it wouldn't be both because he doesn't say you're my servant that then suffers. It doesn't say that.
The passage that you literally gave us. Oh, remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, for you are my servant. I formed you.
He thinks
you
that
are my servant. It says it fucking twice.
he thinks that it's a different servant arbitrarily in Isaiah 52.
Okay, I'm gonna finish the highlighted points. If you can take scripture that I didn't highlight and read it, then surely I can give more context to what I'm arguing.
Sure, attempt.
So, anyways, Isaiah 45:21. Declare and present your case.
Wait.
Take this counsel together.
Wait. I'm going to read it so that everyone can see it.
Okay.
Isaiah 45, verse what?
21 to 2:22.
Isaiah 21. Speak up, compare.
No, Isaiah 45. Okay, yeah.
Speak
Okay.
up,
I thought you said
compare
Isaiah 21.
testimony. Let them even take counsel together. Who announced this aforetime? Who foretold of it? Was it not I, the Eternal One? There is no God beside me. No God beside me, who foretells truly and grants success. Turn to me and gain success, all the ends of the earth, for I am God and there is none else. But myself I have sworn, from my mouth has issued truth. A word shall not turn back. To me every knee shall bend and every tongue shall swear loyalty. What does this have to do with Isaiah 53?
A righteous God and a Savior, there is none besides me. There is nobody that can be a Savior.
Moses didn't save the people of Israel.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Am I reading that wrong, or is it
Moses also didn't split
prophesizing
the
that
sea,
everybody
God
will
split the
become a
sea.
believer in God?
Moses also didn't split the sea. God split the sea. And it says that in Scripture. I didn't highlight it, but it
good
literally
luck telling the
says,
Jewish people that Moses didn't save them. You understand.
okay, well, the Jewish people crucified the God I believe in.
You
so,
understand.
yeah.
You understand that the language being used here in Isaiah chapter 45 is hyperbolic language. It's like saying the Knicks are the best. The Knicks are the best basketball team, and besides them, there are no other. There is no other
That's
basketball
not what it's
team.
saying.
There's no better.
That's not what it's
There
saying.
is no other football team except for the Browns.
That's
In
not what
honor
it's
of our
saying.
friend
That's not
Justin
what it's
here.
saying.
Yeah, that's what's
I call
saying.
shenanigans on that.
That is not what it's saying. It's saying that there is no other God, not that I am the best
Except
God.
for
It doesn't say I am
all the
best
other
God.
parts of the Bible that make it very clear that there are other gods. So clearly, you
That are
can't.
okay. Have you ever heard the word false God?
Before,
That
Not
means
in the
it's
Hebrew
not a
Bible.
true God.
Before we move on to other topics, can I address the redeem part real quick before we move on? Because I think it's going to get overlooked. But in Isaiah 52, and Ashlyn was wise to point us back to Isaiah 52, because that lays the groundwork. It says, "Shake yourself from the dust and rise up, O captive Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive daughter Zion. For thus saith the Lord, you were sold for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money." The redemption of the servant is about freeing them from Babylonian captivity. When you purchased back a slave or you got your slave back, you redeemed them. And that's what God is saying he's doing here. He's redeeming the nation of Israel.
It's not from sin; it's from captivity. But you, as a Christian, you hear the word redemption and you think only in terms of sin. But that's not the way redemption works in the Hebrew Bible. God's not redeeming them from their sin. He's redeeming them from their captivity in Babylon. And again, you're completely ignoring the righteous remnant quality of like Israelite theology. Now, throughout the book of Isaiah, time and time again, I'm being told the servant is Israel, the servant is Israel, the servant is Israel. Then suddenly you want me to think that when I get to Isaiah 52 verse 13, suddenly it's not Israel. Make that make sense.
All right, let me finish and then we can continue, please.
That is true. That's just bad writing.
Bad exegesis.
All right. Isaiah 48:18 through 20.
Oh, no, you don't want to. 58. He says in 48 that Israel's a servant too.
Okay, just because he says Israel is a servant doesn't mean that it is the suffering servant. He's talking
Yeah,
about how
yeah.
Israel has sinned
Well,
and therefore they need redemption.
you're going to have to show us where in the text.
Okay.
You're-
Time out. You said this was about them, God redeeming Israel from Babylon, but the whole thing is about how Israel has sinned and chosen wicked gods over God, and therefore He is going
All
to redeem
Israel?
them from their sin. Not
All
Babylon.
of Israel?
Yes.
No, not
Yes.
all of Israel.
Well,
Are you going to make the claim that
okay, but
every?
you still were wrong. You were still wrong. You said that this was about Him redeeming them from Babylon, not their
Well,
sin.
no. Isaiah 52 is about him redeeming them from Babylon.
No, just because
Yes.
whatever deconstruction said, that doesn't. There can
No,
be
it's not what deconstruction said. It's
multiple meanings.
It's what the Bible says. Isaiah 52. Awake, awake, O Zion. Clothe yourself in splendor. Put on your robes of majesty. Jerusalem, holy city, for the uncircumcised and the impure shall never enter you again. Arise, shake off the dust. Sit on your throne, O Jerusalem. Loose the bonds from your neck, O captive fair one, fair Zion. So this is describing the servant who is being exalted from their lowly position. For thus saith God, you were sold for no price, and shall be redeemed without money. For thus said my sovereign God, of old my people went down to Egypt to sojourn there, but Assyria has robbed them, giving them nothing in return. What therefore do I gain here, declares God? For my people has been carried off for nothing. Their mockers howl, declares God, and constantly and unceasingly my name is reviled. Assuredly, my people shall learn my name. Assuredly, they shall learn on that day that I, the one who promised, am now at hand. How welcome on the mountains are the footsteps of the herald, announcing happiness, heralding good fortune, announcing victory, telling Zion, your God reigns. Hark, your lookouts raise their voices. As one they shout for joy, for every eye shall behold God's return to Zion. Raise a shout together, O ruins of Jerusalem. This is about the return of the exiles. For God will comfort his people, will redeem Jerusalem. God will bear a holy arm in the sight of all the nations, and the very ends of the earth shall see the victory of our God. The victory here is referring to God bringing his people out of captivity back to the Holy Land. Turn away, touch not impure. As you depart from there, keep pure as you go forth from there, you who bear the vessels of God. For you will not depart in haste, nor will you leave in flight, for God is marching before you. The God of Israel is your rear guard. Indeed, my servant shall prosper. Be exalted and raised to great heights. This is a continuation of what's been talking about in verse 52, in the previous part of chapter 52. The servant who prospers and exalted to great heights is the same servant mentioned at the beginning of the passage when God says, arise, shake off the dust, sit Jerusalem, loose the bonds from your neck, O captive fair of Zion. This is just a continuation of the passage.
Okay, so with your logic, we can no longer so there is a big debate between Christian theology, and that is that we are the new Israel or we are not the new Israel.
That's completely irrelevant to this conversation.
No, it's not irrelevant. The interpretation is that we are the new Israel.
Irrelevant.
And so therefore,
unless you can show me where that's unless you can show me where that is in the Hebrew Bible, I don't give a shit. That's just a Christian recontextualization of prophecy because prophecy was failing and wasn't being applied to the literal Israel of the exile. Therefore, you have to recontextualize it to be about a different Israel, a metaphorical Israel, or spiritual Israel, in order to make the prophecy succeed. But this is all about.
Also,
that's not where I was
if
going
I were
with
God,
that,
I wouldn't have left it up to interpretation. I would have just said, "Hey, there's going to be this guy. He's going to be named Jesus. He's specifically going to be, born to a virgin or whatever, and he's going to do these specific miracles, and he will be the new Messiah." But why leave it up to this very vague language?
Yeah,
if we were all God, we would have gotten it wrong many times.
No, I doubt it. I think I would have been a better God than Yahweh. But anyways, all of Isaiah 52 is specifically about the return of the exiles in Babylon. It has nothing to do with the 1st century CE. It's all about the return from Babylon.
Okay, so why does God but why does God explain why they were in Babylon in the first place? What's the reasoning?
Well, it says in Isaiah 52 that they were sold for nothing because he's speaking to the righteous remnant of Israel. Do you understand that?
Okay,
Do you
but why
understand
were they
that
sold? Why were they sold? Because I'm
for nothing?
pointing at a verse right now. No, why were they sold for nothing? I'm pointing at a verse right now that like this is why, and that's not what it says.
Oh, they were sold because of the wickedness of the other Israelites.
What do you mean other Israelites?
Because
The
again,
people before?
as I've already spoken to you in the beginning of this conversation, Israel, not all of Israel are univocally Israel. There's a righteous remnant within Israel. Even the prophet Jeremiah tells us that the righteous were slayed along with the wicked in the siege by the Babylonians. When you talk about the righteous remnant of Israel, what sin did they commit that led them into suffering in Babylon?
Many sins, but what I'm actually pointing at right now,
They're
Isaiah
the righteous
50,
remnant.
Isaiah 50.
God says
Isaiah
that
50.
God
Okay.
says that they were
Okay.
says that they were innocent.
Okay, unless you give me 5 minutes of you explaining more about the righteous remnant, I don't have an opinion on it. I can't speak on that. I really cannot speak on anything, and my opinion wouldn't be valid anyway.
Paul says in the book of
I
Romans
know nothing about the righteous remnant.
because even
Look,
Paul's
you can put me on mute,
even
and I'll read it.
Even Paul says in the book of Romans that in every generation there are groups of Israelites that remain faithful to God.
Okay, well then why does he say the servant of Israel and not the servant of the righteous remnant?
It'd be understandable to anyone reading the text originally. I mean, the author of Second
No, because
Isaiah,
it's up to interpretation, remember? You admitted this is up
the
to
author of Second
interpretation.
Isaiah doesn't expect some numbnuts Christian 2,000 years later with a new theology reading back into the text things that were never intended by him. He's expecting,
And that argument can be
and
flipped
he's
to the
expecting his audience being when Second Isaiah was written during the time of Cyrus. He's expecting his audience to understand what's being said because he's writing to them, not to you.
Yeah, well, so God also wouldn't expect, or he was also writing the Bible not to people that didn't believe we didn't have a God.
Well,
That
no,
argument
you're
can apply
going to
atheists
need
as well.
to demonstrate.
You can't talk about.
You're going to need to demonstrate that God wrote anything if you're going to make that claim.
Well, you can't say that one thing is left up to interpretation and the other one isn't.
No,
Like,
we know that
it's either all left up to
we know that a
interpretation or not.
human wrote the book of Isaiah. You don't have any data to support that God wrote anything.
Okay, but the whole argument is formed because it was written by a human who would not be able to tell the future. And then Isaiah 53 says, "Hey, this guy's going to get crucified."
It doesn't say crucified, and it never describes.
It says pierced for your
No, it doesn't say
transgression.
pierced. It doesn't say pierced. It says mecholal, which means wounded. And then guess what? The wounding of the servant, it's not in the future. It doesn't say he shall be wounded. It says he was wounded. Do you understand the difference between past and present tense?
Yeah, I do, but that's in Genesis. There are parallels throughout all of the Old Testament that point to. It's called typology, and I'm not an expert on typology, but typology is whenever something happens in the past that is like a parallel to something happening in the future.
Wow, nice.
And so there are many times, even in Genesis. What is it?
I don't accept typology. That's just Christians reading back into the Bible and Old Testament, their theology. You're not going to be able to demonstrate from the Old Testament
No.
that
We're
such a
talking
thing
about
as
literature,
typology.
even if the Bible isn't true.
No.
We're talking about literature.
You cannot
Even-
demonstrate that there's such a thing as typology in the Old Testament without relying on the theology of the New Testament.
But typology doesn't depend on the accuracy of the Bible. It's specifically something happened in the Old Testament, and it foreshadows something that's going to happen. in the
No,
New Testament.
that presupposes that the things written that it's actually foreshadow, as opposed to the authors of the New Testament reading back into the Old Testament their theology.
So you think that the people of the New Testament were just kind of like they took the Old Testament and they
were
twisted it so
copying
that it
the Old
fulfilled
Testament.
something. Okay, yeah. So y'all think they were making it all up?
Typology is just a sharpshooter fallacy. That's it.
No, typology. Believing in typology, sure, believing the accuracy of it, but typology in and of itself is just something that the literature does. For example, when Abraham was about to sacrifice his son and that lamb appeared.
Where does the Hebrew Bible ever tell you that typology is an accurate and reliable method of reading the text?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't believe in the typology, but that doesn't mean that the typology is not
I don't
right
believe
there.
in it
this
because
Bible
it's
I'm
not
looking at
present
right
in
now.
the Hebrew Bible.
Okay. the Hebrew Bible talks about Abraham sacrificing his son, and right before he sacrifices his son, that lamb appears, and it's
A ram,
foreshadowing
not a
of the
lamb,
coming sacrifice
not a
of Jesus
lamb,
Christ.
not a lamb, a ram.
What is it? A goat?
It's a ram.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, that's not.
Same
That's
thing.
just.
Literally,
That's just a
it's a
story.
sacrifice.
That's not. That's just a
It's
story.
just a story that you don't believe in.
Yeah, you have
but
to.
if
You have
do
to
believe in the Bible-
presuppose. You have to presuppose that the New Testament is true, and that this is foreshadowing the New Testament, as opposed to the authors of the New Testament looking back on stories in the Old Testament and finding patterns that seem similar to the stories of the New Testament. Can you differentiate between
Okay,
the
I
two?
got you. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of quit following halfway through what you were saying, so no.
Of course you
But I
did.
just want to like wrap up my point. Well,
No.
Well,
Jingle,
when
jingle.
Americans
Jingle, jingle.
genocided the native, when we came over from Europe and genocided the Native Americans, was that a typological fulfillment of the conquest of Canaan?
no.
Well, how could you know? How so what's your measuring stick for what is a typology? Your measuring stick is it's a typology if the New Testament tells me it is, but you haven't established that we should care what the New Testament says yet. So we don't believe that it's
Okay, that's
typological.
what I mean, I accept that you don't believe in the Old Testament. So, cool. Nice point.
No, my point is not that we don't believe the New Testament. My point is the only thing in the Bible that would lead you to believe that there's typologies is the New Testament. Nothing in the Old Testament would ever lead you to believe that typologies exist.
Exactly, and that's why people believe that the New Testament is the fulfillment of the Old
So,
Testament.
well, you have to demonstrate that that's true. We're not just going to presuppose that that's true.
And that's why we're talking about Isaiah
okay.
53.
What you're doing, think of it like this. Instead of asking like a generic question, like an open question, I go, how can I set out to prove that CXT is a serial unaliver? Like, that's the type of stuff that you're doing. You're starting with the premise and you're looking throughout the text to find things that fit and line up to make your thing true. That is not how we figure out whether things are true or not. Instead, you should be going, what was the intent of this author, and trying to figure out the context of it. But instead, as you have demonstrated, you have to cherry pick from the text and pull little things and say, that thing's not about him. No, literally, you said that. You said that part's not.
The host said I could cherry pick because I couldn't read all of Isaiah 42 to 53. So I didn't cherry pick.
No, I
because
told you
have
it
no
wouldn't be
other
cherry
argument.
picking if we're showing me verses that you think actually lead us
Okay,
to
well,
believe.
Ashland
that
just
Jesus
said I was
the-
cherry picking.
No, that's
so-
a
No,
complete.
I
no, it's a
showed
different
you.
thing.
No, in 45, I said, look at 45. And I said, no, start from 21 because it clearly says it's about the servant because you had to go in and pick the specific part that you wanted. Like, that's-
because I did.
that
I
is
can't
what you're
read all of
doing.
42 to 53. It was for the sake
In
of time.
science, we actually have a name for this kind of a fallacy. It's called an ad hoc fallacy. You're
Okay.
giving a new explanation after the fact rather than like
Okay.
if you could show that this interpretation was used before the New Testament was written, that would be an interesting thing. But given the fact that this interpretation only ever came about after the New Testament was written means that it is an ad hoc explanation.
Okay, so the reason it's an ad hoc explanation is because even the Israelis didn't believe that the coming Messiah would be a humble servant that was going to get pierced. They thought he was going to be a warrior that was going to come
Yeah,
conquer
because the Hebrew
nations.
Bible never
So it's
says
not a
anything
useful
about that.
it's not a
Okay.
useful prediction then.
Okay, so what I'm saying, the reason I'm, looking through the Old Testament with a made-up mind that I need to find Jesus in the Old Testament is because I'm challenging Jesus' claim. No, you read the New Testament and you
so
see
you
where Jesus
do
says
that.
he is God.
You just admitted to it. Thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Jesus
No,
said he
that
claimed
no,
to be
there is
God.
some- no,
Therefore,
there
you
is
go
something here.
challenge that
Here,
with
let
the
me
Old
let me
Testament.
let me let me put
You
this.
just said you
let me-
weren't.
Let me put this challenge to you aspect. Let's pretend that you and I are two Jewish men living 100 years.
I don't
before
think
the-
it's post hoc actually.
before the time of Jesus. And you come to me making the claim that the servant in Isaiah 53 is meant to be the Messiah. How are you going to demonstrate to me?
Throughout the Old Testament. I'm going to look throughout the Old Testament and try to find Jesus. in the Old
Why?
Testament,
Because
which is why I
we're talking about.
can't.
No. We are two Jewish men living 100 years before the time of Jesus. How would you demonstrate to me that Isaiah 53 is about the Messiah and not about Israel?
Where every time that God says that he alone can redeem Israel and he alone can forgive them for their sins?
I would say that the text is also very clear that the angel of the Lord is able to forgive people of sins, and that Moses
And there's people that
was a
believe the angel of
savior.
the Lord is Jesus.
No, we're Jews living 100 years before the time of Christianity. The text never says that the angel of the Lord is anything other than an angel, and it's able to forgive people's sins. And Moses was the savior of our people in Egypt. He was the redeemer. That's why the Jewish people literally call him the first redeemer.
Okay, but the Bible doesn't say first redeemer. The Bible says that God is the only.
It also
redeemer.
says
So
he's the
therefore,
only
angel of the
God, and
Lord-
yet the book also says there are other gods. Clearly, you don't understand.
He's the only
you
true
don't.
God.
It doesn't say false gods. When it talks about the other gods, it doesn't say false gods.
It's kind of implied.
It's not
kind
implied.
Of implied.
In fact, he says
It is
you,
implied.
and God says you are gods. That's what he says to them. You are gods.
Yes, but they're not actually gods. That's just
Well,
what
then he
that's the
lied,
title.
didn't he? Then God lied. They're not actually gods. God said you are gods.
It's implied, true.
No,
and
it's not
false.
implied. It's not implied. I don't care about what you think is implied. It's not. The text says you are gods when he's speaking to the other gods. So the author of Isaiah is engaging in hyperbolic language in order to elevate Yahweh above all other deities and above all other saviors. It's not meant to be said that he is the only one of these things. This is common language, even amongst, like, if you read like the literature about the goddess Isis amongst her cult, they say the same things about her, even though they were polytheist people. So try again. Why should I think the servant in Isaiah 53 is anyone other than Israel, the righteous remnant of Israel?
Okay. I'm going to read. You can mute me or whatever. I'm going to read over Isaiah 53 to myself. And if I can't come up with a good argument, then
I'll just fucking read it, I guess. Then here, Isaiah 53,
No, I'm gonna read it
Isaiah
for
53
myself.
verse 1. Who has believed? Actually, no, we're not going to start in Isaiah 53. We're going to start in 52, verse 13, where the suffering servant song begins. Behold, my servant shall prosper; he shall be exalted and lifted up, and shall be very high. Okay, let's analyze this verse. Anything in this verse that tells me it's about the Messiah?
I'm reading on my own.
No. Answer my question. You can go read on.
I'll just checkmate. I'll just checkmate.
If you want to go and read on your own, you can leave the box, and we can make room for someone else. But right now, you're engaging with me. So, question number 1. Where in Isaiah 52 is there anything in Isaiah 52:13 that would lead me to believe that this is about the Messiah?
No.
All right,
Not alone.
Let's go to verse 14. As many were astonished at, by the way, who is the servant throughout Isaiah so far?
So far it would be Jacob, the nation of Jacob.
All right. As many as were astonished at him, his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the sons of men. Okay, anything in this verse that should lead me to think it's about the Messiah?
Well, it does actually specifically say his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance.
Why would that make me think it's about the Messiah, not about the horrible?
Because it's talking about a human, not a nation.
Well, no. Why would I think that?
Yes, it says human. It says his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance.
Yeah, the Israelites were were utterly decimated when the Babylonians scared them away into Babylon.
Yes.
So this wouldn't lead me to think it's about the Messiah.
Okay, can all right, before you finish, Isaiah 52 9. Read Isaiah 52 9.
Break forth together into singing, you waste places of Jerusalem, for Yahweh has comforted his people, he has redeemed Jerusalem. Redeemed them from what?
Okay, and now read Isaiah 44:22.
Read the next verse. Read the next 2 verses.
Yeah. Yahweh has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Depart, depart, go out thence, touch no unclean thing. Go out from the midst of her, purify yourselves, you who bear the vessels of Yahweh. What is that about?
Well, read 12.
No.
It's about leaving, buddy. Leaving Babylon.
Okay, it's also, you could also call this a parallel between believing and repenting. Yes, walking away from your chains, walking away from your sin, walking away from
This is not about
walking
walking
away
away
from your
from your sins. This is about walking away from Babylon. This whole thing
No, because why was he in Babylon in the first place? Why was Israel in Babylon in the first place? Because of their iniquities. That's why they were sold to Babylon.
No.
No, they weren't sold for nothing. That's why they were in Babylon.
No.
They were sold for nothing.
Read the
because of their
highlight.
iniquities.
Read the highlight. What does it say?
Okay, and I highlighted and told you earlier.
Read the
that they were
highlight.
sold for nothing.
Read the highlight.
You were sold for nothing.
And you shall be redeemed without money. What does that mean? You were sold for nothing. What does that mean?
Behold, for your iniquities you were sold, and for your transgressions your mother was sent away. Isaiah 50, verse 1.
What does this mean?
Okay, it's just a further explanation of what
does it mean to be sold for nothing?
Just tell me, because I don't know.
Think for yourself for 5 fucking seconds.
I am thinking for myself.
I
That's
don't
why
think you are.
I haven't caved to your argument. You have a good argument, and I haven't caved in, so I am thinking for myself.
No, you're not.
Tell me what that means.
No, you tell me what it means. What does it mean to be sold for nothing? Does it say is nothing a bunch of things?
You were sold for nothing. It was like a trade. I received nothing for selling you.
You were sold for nothing, and you shall be redeemed without money.
Yes, and why were they sold for nothing? Behold, for your iniquities
because they didn't do anything. Because remember,
so let's put the two together.
Because don't forget, it wasn't just the wicked amongst Israel that suffered; it was the righteous too. Son of man, mark 2 ways for the sword of the king of Babylon to come. Both of them shall come forth from the same land, and make a signpost. Make it at the head of the way of the city.
So if even the righteous remnant could not save themselves from suffering, how are they supposed to redeem a whole nation?
Through their suffering.
No, that's not what happened. Says.
Yes, it's through their suffering that they redeem the people of the world. Where's the verse?
But
19 through 23 is where it was at. And make
I remember
and make a way for the sword to come to Rabbah and the Ammonites and Judah and Jerusalem to be fortified. For the king of Babylon stands at the parting of the way at the head of the 2 ways to use divination. Where's the part where it talks about how he sends his sword to the righteous and the wicked? Justin, are you familiar with the passage I'm referring to? Here, where is it?
I don't know which verse it's at, unfortunately.
Also, I feel like I've been yelling. I'm sorry.
Oh, here we go. It's actually verses 3 through 4 of this passage right here. Here it is. And the word of Yahweh came to me, Son of man, set your face toward Jerusalem and preach against the sanctuaries. Prophesy against the land of Israel and say to the land of Israel, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against you and will draw forth my sword out of its sheath, and I will cut off from you both the righteous and the wicked. So when the people of Israel suffered in the Babylonian captivity, was it only the wicked who suffered?
No.
So there were righteous Israelites that suffered in the exile, right? Who committed no iniquity.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So there's an idea among the prophets that within Israel there is a righteous remnant. They suffered in captivity along with the wicked, and through their suffering, salvation comes to the rest of the world. Because they suffered for no good reason and are exalted before the eyes of the nations, and that exaltation is what leads to the nations going that their mouths will be startled because of shut because of him. For that which had not been told them they shall see, and that which they had not heard they shall understand.
Okay, go up and read where it talks about they were suffering again, please.
In Ezekiel, yeah.
Or just whatever you said about
Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against you, and will draw forth my sword out of its sheath, and will cut off from you both righteous and wicked.
Okay. Do you have any other scripture that talks about the righteous remnant and specifically them?
About the righteous remnant, yeah. I mean, there's probably one of the most famous stories that most Christians are familiar because Paul references it in the book of Romans. Is that when Elijah wailed?
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, sure.
I'm following you. I'm following you. So I need you to show me.
Let's see. Romans 11, 2 through 3. I then asked, Has God rejected his people? By no means. I myself am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, a member of the tribe of Benjamin. God has not rejected his people whom he foreknew. Do you not know what the scripture says of Elijah, how he pleads with God about Israel? Lord, they have killed thy prophets, they have demolished thy altars, and I alone am left, and they seek my life. But what is God's reply to him? I have kept for myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to Baal. So too at this present time there is a remnant chosen by grace. So this was something that even Paul, as a first century Jew, understood this theology, that in every generation there is a righteous remnant of Israelites that don't fall to the wickedness of the rest of the nation. The same was true in the Babylonian exile. So the servant who repeatedly throughout Isaiah is said to be Israel, the righteous remnant, is the person that's been suffering. Otherwise, the prophet wouldn't talk about the suffering of the servant in past tense. So, for example, let's test your knowledge real quick. If I say to you, I went to the store versus I shall go to the store, what is the difference between these two sentences?
The time in which you do that. One has already happened, one will happen.
What's the difference between these two sentences? He was wounded versus he shall be wounded.
You're right.
Well, what's the difference?
It's saying that one already happened, yeah. But
so when the prophet...
But still, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
the between Isaiah 44 and 22. For I have redeemed you. God has redeemed you. And then
from captivity.
And then 52:9 it says, break forth together into singing, for the Lord has comforted his people. From
exile. From exile.
Well, hold on. You're adding to that. That's not what it says.
No, that's exactly what it says. Isaiah 52 verses 10 through 11 also make it clear that it's about the redemption from the exile. Justin already pointed this out to you. You're just ignoring it. Now, when we talk about the suffering of the servant, which tenses are being used?
Past tense.
So what does that tell me about the suffering of the servant from the perspective of the author of 2nd Isaiah?
Yeah.
Well, what does it tell us?
Well, it's kind of saying that it already happened.
It already happened, as in when the author of 2nd Isaiah, who is writing at the time when the Jews are leaving their exile, he's describing a servant who's already has suffered, not will suffer in the future.
So when it says he, why would it not say they?
Oh, because the prophets often refer to the nation of Israel collectively as a he. For example, probably one of the most...
No. We're talking about the remnant, not the nation of Israel. We're talking about the remnant.
Yeah,
because in Romans,
regardless of whether you're referring to the remnant or even Israel as a whole, large groups of people can be referred to as a he. For example, the northern house of Israel, which isn't all of Israel, called Ephraim, is called a he in Jeremiah 31.
Okay, so why do 99% of atheists say that this is about the nation of Israel, and this is the first time I've ever heard it's about the remnant of Israel?
Well, I'm a bit more studious, I suppose. Now, the author of Isaiah also uses the Hebrew word for them, plural, to refer to the suffering servant in Isaiah 53, in verse 8. It says at the end of verse 8, Mi pesha ami nega lamo, which means because of the transgression of my people, they were afflicted.
Yeah.
That can't refer to a single person. So, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, that still doesn't make sense. I mean, it's still... yeah.
Only doesn't make sense if you weren't listening to anything that's been said.
I have more questions, but I have no... It refers a lot of times the he, and like throughout Isaiah 42 to 51, it talks many times about his iniquity, their iniquity, and then all of a sudden it just flips the script to, oh, but you were so righteous. And for
No,
your
I mean, this
righteousness
isn't
you
flipping the
defeated
script because already in Isaiah 49 there's an idea that there are righteous within Israel who are meant to bring back the rest of Israel. I say it for you, it is too little a thing that you should only bring back the rest of Israel. I shall also make you a light to the nations. He's speaking to the prophet. And he's saying that his job is, as the servant Israel, is to bring back Israel and the nations.
Yeah. I'm going to read more about it. You made some very good points. It seems like there's more people in the chat that want to talk to you, so.
All right. Well, have a good day, Aspect.
I would say about the pronouns, it's important to recognize that if the author is using a metaphor that the people are a servant in the singular and the singular is in the masculine grammatically, that when you refer to the servant, you're going to say he. I mean, that's just how metaphors work. If I said Dalton is, I don't know, let's say I would say Dalton's family is a dog. And then I'd said, and he likes Thanksgiving dinner. Well, we understand that he likes Thanksgiving dinner is referring to Dalton's family. That's just, you got to follow the metaphors,
Yeah. I'm gonna read more about it. Y'all do make sense. Y'all have a good argument.
All right.
But I hope I was respectful. Appreciate
You are.
it.
Best guest I've had today.
All right. Well, I appreciate
It was
it.
a low bar, though.
If I find anything, any other points that support my argument, I'll be back.
All right.
But if you're right.
All right. Real quick, I'm going to read some super chats. How was the line today, Justin?
I'm going to drop, but buddy, you're cooking them great.
Thank you. Much appreciated, bud. I'll talk to you later. At Garbage Man with the 2 Canuck bucks. Hyman verse, new Marvel movie setting, the Hyman verse.
Also, are you telling me that the Bible uses pronouns?
The
liberal agenda has gone too far.
It's gone too far into the past. And then at Declan James 2,
the Bible is woke now.
The Bible has always been woke.
I don't know if y'all can hear me, but my sound just cut out completely.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yep, you're good.
Oh, now I can't hear you. We could hear you when you said your sound went out.
Bad connection, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, no, now you're gone. Must be like a loose cable or something.
At Declan James with the $2, you'd certainly be a better god than Chuck. Supernatural reference, everyone. I would be a better god than Chuck. Oh, looks like you're at the top of the bar now, Quan. So, I guess
I'm the king of the world.
We'll bring in our next guest, Heath Martyr. Heath, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
I've read it from front to back throughout. Spent a lot of time in the prayer closet with it as well.
Well, I'm glad you came out of the closet. Now, Heath, question number 4.
I'm out of the closet, I'm out now.
What are your pronouns?
Pronouns?
Yeah.
I guess it would be he, him, himself, I.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I believe so. Yeah, that's pronouns that most would use to describe me. A he. I'm a man.
All right, Heath, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Heath, why should I?
I know. But that's perfectly fine. Well, you seem to know a lot about it, and it seems like you have a lot of questions. How much of the Bible have you read? You seem like you've read the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured so. So, what's your issue with the Lord? And what's your issue with the Word?
With the Lord? I don't have an issue with the Lord.
Word.
I don't. No,
With the Word, His Word.
Oh, it's not true. It's my biggest issue with it.
So specifically, what questions about? I mean, I've heard you ask a lot of questions to a lot of people, and I'll do my best to answer. The what specific questions you're like, why are we here? Why is all this bad stuff happening in the world? Why does he allow all this bad stuff to happen?
The problem of theodicies is not why I don't believe in the God. It could just be that God's evil and he's still real. No, I don't disbelieve in the Bible because of theodicies. I disbelieve in the Bible because of its scientific and historical errors, contradictions, and unfulfilled prophecies. It's just it's no different than any other ancient work.
So that is so you obviously don't believe he parted the Red Sea then.
Yeah, we have no evidence of the parting of the Red Sea.
Okay. Do you believe there was a temple in Jerusalem?
Yeah.
Where is it now?
It was destroyed by the Romans.
It was destroyed. Jesus did prophesy about this.
Well, he said that no stone would be left upon another, and well, the whole Western Wall is still standing. But also, I don't think the historical Jesus really said that.
I think that's an argument that's not a fact. As you know, a lot of our history is indeed a lie, and I do know you know this.
No, we know for a fact that the Western Wall is still standing.
We do not know that. No,
we do. We do. People go there all the time.
Yeah, there's a place where people go. We do not know. For a fact, regardless of the fake history, we don't.
We know for a fact that this is where
you do. The world does. I guess if you're like associating with yourself.
Yeah, unless you want to appeal to conspiracy theories, then yeah, we know where the Jewish temple was.
Yeah,
maybe Dalton. Maybe you're just not part of the world.
I personally don't believe that Israel was a tiny little speck on the map. Now think about it. It doesn't even make sense. Look at how small Israel is. I mean, it's smaller than the state of Delaware for one.
The modern state, the state of the modern state of Israel is not the size that the ancient kingdom of Israel used to be.
Yeah, it's tiny. So they're representing this little tiny speck of dust as the land.
Yes, the region where Israel is today makes up part of the ancient world of Israel.
Yes, the ancient Israel was
ancient world
probably about quadruple the size of current
Israel, by the way. Am I wrong about that? Are they not claiming that the borders of Israel is where the 12 tribes were inside of?
Part of it.
Am I wrong about
part of it? Ancient Israel was about the size, I want to say, of Texas, maybe a little
about the
larger.
Size of Texas. So
ancient Israel was huge. It covered a very big area.
A big area, yeah. Well, obviously, it had to be huge.
But this is beyond the point. The city of Jerusalem that exists today is the old city of Jerusalem. Is the original place where the Romans destroyed the temple, and the Temple Mount is where the temple used to stand.
It possibly is, and then again, it's possibly not. Or another. Here's another flip side to that.
There's no evidence to suggest otherwise.
Let's say that it is. It could be that it is. And the wall that we're seeing is actually not the temple wall. It's a wall to something else.
It is the temple wall.
So
it's the outer western wall.
You can believe that if you want.
That's not up for debate. Also, Jesus never actually said that. The first time that the zipper comes up in the Gospels is in the Gospel of Mark, which was written after the temple had already been destroyed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the Lord prophesied even the Old Testament that he was going to destroy everything, did he not? He was going to remove the pharaohs. I don't know what you mean by everything.
But
he's going to destroy the temple in the book of Daniel, and it talks about why he was going to put
Daniel's inaccurate too. Daniel has a lot of historical inaccuracies in it.
Well, see, I mean, this right here kind of logic, like we could never come to an agreement if we tried.
Because you believe in conspiracy theories and you don't think history is correct.
It's because you're claiming to say the Bible's false.
Well, yeah, but I'm not just claiming that. I have data to support that. I have data to support that, but no one can hear you while I'm talking. I have data to support my position. We have actual records from the Babylonians, the list of kings A and B, the Babylonian Chronicles, and the Nabonidus cylinder, all which predate the book of Daniel and is from that area of the world, unlike the book of Daniel, that actually tells us, not vacuuming right now, come on, and that actually tells us who was the kings of Babylon and when, and Daniel's just flat out wrong.
It's like according to our modern timeline.
No, according to
we have historians from that era that we can reference to.
according to
Ancient
their
Babylon was
timeline.
very good at keeping records, and most societies
Yeah.
were.
So I think where a lot of confusion comes into play is that our timeline, as we know it, is not accurate. And I don't have the time.
Maybe your timeline isn't accurate, but we know.
I'm talking about the
I mean, yes, there are
before
gaps. Like
2,000
there's
years after
there's a
Christ.
gap between several kings for quite some time, but there's like we have a very good idea about who was ruling.
We know for a fact that, for example, Belshazzar was not the son of not the son of Nebuchadnezzar. The Book of Daniel makes that claim. It's absolutely not true. We know who Nebuchadnezzar's son was, and Belshazzar wasn't even related to Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, I don't know how you get that information
From
but I mean,
from the actual Babylonian records. Who
Yeah,
who
so
should
you
should I
know-
trust on who was king of Babylon and when? Some text from hundreds of years after the fact written in the Holy Land, or actual works from the Babylonians written at that time and in that place?
Yeah, I can't really speak to those texts because I haven't seen them. But what I do know, the people who write our history books have
God.
control over what they
Okay,
get. But then
H,
again, on your
H.
defense,
I don't give a shit about.
I
your
got one
conspiracy
question for them.
theories.
Can I ask them one question?
Yeah.
What shape do you think the Earth is?
Ooh. You can unmute yourself, Heath. What shape do you think the Earth is?
I think the Earth is.
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
think about it, we were a ball, and the universe was spinning around us.
Huh?
So you're.
So I don't really know. I can't really definitively tell you what shape the Earth is.
The universe
I have
doesn't
all
I'll
these
take that. I'll take that as a win.
theory everybody has.
It's a halfway. He's a
This is flat Earth
sounds like
adjacent.
sounds like he's a geocentrist.
I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not anything. I'm not anything. I really don't know. I look. The thing baffles me. The lies involved with that. Just like it
I
baffles
knew it was worth
people.
asking that.
Yeah, and so I
had
did
a
pray
feeling.
about it because I'm like the same thing. I'm like I don't really know.
Here, give us an argument for
and
why
so I
we
don't-
should
I
believe
don't
in the
talk
Bible
about
that doesn't
faith.
depend upon your ass backwards conspiracy theories. I don't give a shit about. If there's one thing in this world that I detest more than anything else, it's conspiracy theory nonsense. So don't piss me off. What reason do I have
Yeah, I don't know
to
what you're
believe in
talking
your
about.
holy book that doesn't rely upon conspiracy theory mindset?
No, I don't really know what to tell you other than to look at the history unobjectively.
I have looked at the history
Unobjectively, quote.
Unobjectively.
Unobjectively.
No.
Well, I mean, we
subject.
start.
So I should look at it subjectively.
Oh well, we start with a lie.
What do you?
So
What do you no,
imagine,
we don't start with a lie. Prove that. Prove it.
Well, I could, and it would actually take me quite a bit of time.
No, you
For
can't.
instance,
You
on
can't.
the-
Talk, okay, so
I'll give you-
I
I'll
study.
The follow-up question.
So
Follow-up
I
question.
study
An
history.
example, you're
So
asking
you're gonna
me a
have
good
to
question.
really try here.
Follow-up question. Who
Yes.
is lying specifically?
Say it
What
again.
group of people?
Is lying?
What group of people specifically is lying?
I don't want to call out any names, but when you start looking back into early church history, you could clearly see who stuck to what the prophets and the apostles said.
Do you believe that the Jewish people are secretly controlling the world? Yes or no?
The silence is deafening.
Unmute yourself, Heath. Do you think that this is a?
I don't know how.
Is that the Jews?
So I wouldn't call them the Jews,
Don't-
so to speak. I did hear your question.
Man
and I
up
don't mean to interrupt.
and answer the question.
Yeah, no, I'm answering. I'll answer directly. So I don't believe it is the physical Jews like people think about in that country. I'm with you that I believe that Israel continued on through the new covenant, except it.
Fuck off.
Could have just been a no. Like,
Insane conspiracy.
so easy.
I hate conspiracy. Y'all, I cannot express to y'all how much I hate conspiracy theories, and much more I hate conspiracy theories that revolve around racism. Fuck you.
I've dealt with them
you're-
enough. I know the questions to ask to pin it down.
Dalton is traumatized.
Oh yeah, my ex-boss was a member of QAnon. I hate that shit so much.
Oh, So sorry.
Yeah.
You have like flashbacks.
Surprisingly, in college level like history classes, there are quite a few people who come in there with those types of conspiracy theories.
If you know someone who's a conspiracy theorist, you have my full unbridled sanction to point at them and laugh, because these people don't care about the facts. They never will. The only thing left to do to them is to mock them until they're too embarrassed to express their idiocy. I'm passionate about this. All right, I am.
Again, this is why you always have to point out what shape they think the Earth is, because it's always just highlights how ridiculous all of their beliefs are right away.
Yeah, someone said, "How can one be a flurfer and also believe in space lasers?" I love. I am
the part of being a conspiracy theorist is holding two contradictory beliefs in your head at the same time.
Yeah, I am Big Cheese with the $4.99. Modern state of Israel is roughly 3 to 3.5/5 the size of Solomon, Israel. Not even close to the size of Texas, which is 4 times size of Syria, 1.15 times of France. I don't know. I'll have to go and look at and take a look at the actual borders and all that kind of stuff. I have not stopped to actually look at the actual. I don't know how. Listen, I know that Texas is big, but at the same time, I'm also aware of the fact that there's that one map that sort of exaggerates the size of things, and that countries are a lot smaller than they really are. I was shocked by how small the United States was actually compared to the way that it looks on a typical map.
The Mercator projection, I believe, is the one that you're talking about.
Yeah. But
now I can't stop thinking about Texan Jesus now. Cowboy Jesus.
I live with Texas Jesus.
I'm a political science major, but I have a criminal justice degree, and it's been a while since I've done ancient history. Most of my history classes now are modern law. But I'm like, in ancient Israel, it was fairly large, especially for the time period and where it was located.
Har Bien Naif says, "Are you saying there is no groups that work against their neighbors?" Yeah, they're called conservatives. Boom.
Ouch. But also, so true. So true.
I live in Ontario. We could crush Texas in terms of size. I know. I used to think Texas was the biggest state, and I found out that Alaska dwarfs us.
What is it, like 3 Texas can fit inside Alaska?
I don't know, but I know that as a Texan, I know nothing about Texas. See, God is a God of justice. Sin is death. This is unavoidable. Tesha,
Dalton.
Yeah.
You know as much about Texas as Christians do the Bible.
Yeah.
Cause it's the things that you've learned about Texas. It's not that you don't know things. It's just that they're not accurate things.
I'm going to post one of my favorite map projections in the Discord.
Yeah,
it's called the Waterman Butterfly. It's so cool.
Ask Dalton. Wait, what was it that you had learned about the Alamo, Dalton?
I thought we had won the Alamo, and I thought that the phrase "remember the Alamo" was like, remember how good we did at kicking ass. No, I was wrong.
Oh God! Don't go to a 9/11 memorial, please.
What happened on 9/11? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not like Angela.
It was the story. 2 towers destroyed 2 airplanes.
2 towers. I love that movie. Oh, we're talking about Lord of the Rings now. Anyways,
yes, yes.
I'm not like Angela Giatarna from Smosh, who thought 9/11 was in 2011. Angela 2011. Yeah, Aaron, exactly.
Did you know that there's in the 80s, there was a big news story about some scientists who claimed that they discovered cold fusion, and it turns out one of them turned out to be a 9/11 truther.
Ooh.
Later in life. Yeah, it was bad.
Preston, just so I can get a reminder for myself, because you're a returning guest, are you the Preston who's a Christian or the one who's not a Christian?
Oh, I did not know I was requested up. No, I'm an atheist. Let me go ahead and get down.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
My bad.
Yeah, there's 2 Prestons, and I just got to make sure. Oop. Here we go. Just gonna move you over here for a second. Boop. Yeah, who else here loves Smosh? Had a huge crush on Courtney Miller for the longest time. What's your opinion on halal and kosher? I used to keep kosher back in the day. Or at least I attempted to keep kosher. But I mean, they're just, my opinion on them is like, they're pretty useless religious practices. I don't think actually serve any real purpose. She's a taken woman, Dalton. I know, and I love my brother Shane too much to like I respect it.
Okay, but we
Shane
all
is
knew
really
they were
funny.
dating.
I didn't. I mean, I was like I didn't know for sure, but I was so giddy when I found out they got married.
Come on, guy. Like, it was so obvious.
What about usury? Are you okay, dude? Keep pushing the anti-Semitic stuff in my comment section, and you're gonna get banned. Fuck off with that shit. I had Fat Chimpanzee says I had no clue they were dating. I thought maybe, but I wasn't quite sure because they were very hush hush about it.
That's what. Oh my god. In gossip, we use hyperbolic language. So when I say I knew, that's what we're basically saying, Dalton. Hello.
Well, I didn't know. I was like I was.
Obviously none of us were 100% sure, but in hindsight, like it was very obvious. That's what that like
Are you gonna
phrase
say
generally
ad hoc?
means. Yeah, I should ad hoc.
Kirill Pandolf says, "Is Jesus anti-Semitic?" No, Jesus himself would not have been anti-Semitic because Jesus was a Semite. He was Jewish. Now, the authors of the New Testament, that's a different story. The author of the Gospel of John is pretty anti-Semitic, having Jesus say things to the Pharisees like, "You guys are the sons of Satan." And the author of the Book of Revelation is also anti-Semitic, calling the synagogue, quote, "the synagogue of Satan," which is the backbone for a lot of Christian anti-Semitism. At Trump failed, haha, I love this username with the $2. I was a Bose fan. I'm partial to chocolate. Bose? Is that a brand of chocolate?
I know a physicist by the name of Bose.
Oh yeah, and I know of the Higgs boson. Travis Speedy.
That's who it's named after.
I thought so.
Well, one of the two people it was named after. Higgs is one person, Bose was another person.
All right, Travis, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1,
sure.
Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes, I am.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
So I've read it cover to cover a few times, like at least half a dozen.
All right, and then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
Him, he.
All right, Travis, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Travis, why should I?
Okay, so, oh man, thank you for having me on your chat. I really appreciate it. So obviously, I'm not going to try and convince you to, believe in the Bible. That's, something that I guess you've got to.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully,
That's what the thing says in the title.
Yeah, sure, and hopefully, whatever I say will, get you to obviously believe in what the Bible says. But you seem quite intelligent people. You've got somebody who actually studies history, from what I can gather. So I think that's quite amazing. I'm kind of on my own here, and I can just tell you what I think, and what I believe in, and hopefully that can be food for thought.
If you can give me the evidence for what it is that you believe to be true.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. So obviously, you've got the spiritual side of the Bible, you've got the historical side of the Bible, and you've got my side of the Bible. So those 3, but I'll just go through my side of of the Bible in terms of just sort of my experience,
Well,
if that's okay with you.
I don't care about personal experience stories here. We don't do that here. We go by what do the facts say, and do the facts lead me to believe in the Bible?
Okay. Hello, Danny. Sorry. I'm sorry, my family are sleeping, so I've got to keep it down. So just a quick question. I've heard it said that the Bible, for example, is the #1 selling book in the whole world. Like it's actually
Yep.
a
A lot of people got duped into buying it. I agree.
I guess God really wishes he actually had the rights to that because he'd be rich. That's the only thing about that does.
Okay.
Isn't Don Quixote like one of the most published books of all time too? I mean,
it's up there, not as much as the KJV
There
Bible.
goes Bible, Don Quixote, Tale of Two Cities.
And Neurospice
Yes.
Cat Lady does make a point that a lot of those hotel rooms really, jack up the price on how many Bibles are being sold.
I don't know what hotel rooms you're all going to because all the hotels I've been into, it's always the Book of Mormon.
I worked at a hotel. We had both.
I've seen both.
Yeah.
I stole both of them, so I would know.
Also,
Okay.
fun fact, the Book of Mormon sales do contribute to Bible sales.
Oh,
It's
okay.
considered the
I
same book.
honestly never knew that. So, but yeah, so that's just one of the things that I wanted to mention. Also, I was just wanting to ask you a question. Like, what do you think about the fact that the Bible was written by so many different people? Obviously, you probably heard this already, but like written by so many different people over such a long period of time, all different backgrounds, all different, sort of areas.
So it's a hodgepodge.
I think
Sure.
I think where he's going to go
What does
is,
that
and
mean?
yet they all agree with each other.
Yeah, well,
but
I mean,
they
like,
don't.
the thing is, every single book,
You can
as far as
tell.
I've read, points to Jesus Christ in
No.
some way, shape, or form.
The Song of Songs
You
doesn't
can-
point to Jesus. No book of the Old Testament points to Jesus.
And also, you can tell it's written by different authors. Even during Isaiah, you can tell there was an author switch several times throughout the book. They'd use different language. They use different types of grammar. It's very obvious that it was not like a very consistent voice going on, especially in the Old Testament. They all have different ideas.
Sure. And then, yeah, so like, and I mean, I was, also thinking about the fact that, Jesus Christ himself fulfilled every single prophecy. So that,
He didn't
there was,
fulfill a single prophecy.
Can I
Well,
ask
the-
you?
the-
Because there's a prophecy in the Old Testament that says that the third temple would be built, and it even gives all the diagrams and definitions to make the third temple.
Sure.
The third temple has not been rebuilt. It has been 2,000 years, a little over 2,000 years since the second temple fell. So
Okay. Yeah,
the
so,
Messiah
yeah.
would need to rebuild the third temple to be the Messiah.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, these are just things that, I thought I'd ask. I just wanted to quickly come on and chat with you guys.
What prophecy do you think Jesus did fulfill? Because I can't think of a single one he did.
I mean, Isaiah 53 is quite like explicit, right? Like in terms of
It's
the
explicitly
prophecy that,
it's explicitly about the nation of Israel.
yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. Like
Yep.
that's quite like blatant, right?
That's the nations talking about how the people of Israel suffered, and that suffering resulted in the healing of the nations. The suffering of the servant in Isaiah 53 is in the past. It's not in the future tense. It doesn't say he shall be wounded for our transgressions as if it's a prophecy. The author of 2nd Isaiah says that this person was wounded. Past tense. It's already happened from the
Cool.
perspective of the author of 2nd Isaiah.
Yeah, sure. Let me just quickly flip to Isaiah 53. I've got it in front of me. So surely he was born, he has borne our griefs, he has carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. Like I saw all of that whenever I read the New Testament. I'm like,
I
these
see-
people did not like Jesus. They flipping.
I see all
they
that
hated
when I
him.
read the Old Testament, when it describes how the nations saw Israel, when Israel was taken into captivity, even the righteous within Israel were slain by the Babylonians and carried away into captivity. And the nations thought, well, obviously these people were suffering because of something they did, but the righteous amongst Israel didn't do anything to deserve this.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, like, was that not as a result of Israel's disobedience to God? Because he did give them warnings.
Well,
He gave them both verbal warnings
yeah, but
and visual warnings.
yes, but the righteous among Israel also suffered with the wicked, and they didn't do anything. They were
Yeah, I
suffering for
mean,
things they didn't do.
I agree with that. Like the prophets were persecuted, both in northern and southern tribes. So I agree with that completely. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our
Well,
iniquities.
there's a problem there in that it doesn't really say he was wounded for our transgressions. It doesn't use the preposition lamed, which means for. It uses the preposition mem, which means more here because. He was wounded because of our transgressions. Like because of what we did, he was wounded.
Am I getting deja vu?
Yeah, we literally just.
I feel like I'm getting deja vu here.
I hope not. Okay, just really quickly so that you don't get deja vu. I hope I'm being as respectful as I possibly can.
Oh, you are.
I really love chatting to you guys.
It's not you, Travis. It's just a very common subject. In the specific verse, tends to be discussed quite
what about
often.
Jesus? Obviously, the Pharisees were very opposed to what Jesus said and what he did, obviously. But he said,
it doesn't matter though, because Jesus' suffering was in the future from the perspective of the author of 2nd Isaiah. But the author of 2nd Isaiah is describing a suffering that has already occurred, not something that will occur.
Yeah. No, I got you, and I've heard you there. And so, but the next bit I wanted to get to was the fact that Jesus himself said to the Pharisees that David said, "The Lord said to my Lord,"
He misquoted Psalm 110.
Yeah, I think that
because Jesus says that Psalm 110, where it says, "The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies my footstool." David didn't write that. That wasn't written by David.
So who wrote that then?
We don't know the name of the author, but it was written not by David. The psalm at the very beginning says, in the Hebrew, it says, "La David Mizmor," which means for David a psalm, not by David a psalm. The psalm was written about King David. When it says Neum Yahweh. Here, I'll pull it up on the screen so everyone can see it real quick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when it says the first word right here is, and that's highlighted, is the word La David. Lamed Dalet Vav Dalet, and the Dalet Vav Dalet means David, and the Lamed, this little lightning mark looking thing right here, that's the letter Lamed, and it means for, about, or concerning. So for David or about David, a psalm, and then it says Neum, which means to declare, declares Yahweh, La Adoni, to my Lord, and the word for Lord here is not the word Adonai, which is the word which is used for God. It's the word Adoni, which means my Lord. It's used for humans. Bathsheba calls King David Adoni, my Lord, and I think it's 2 Kings. Shev limini, sit at my right hand, ad a seat until I make oiviecha, your enemies, hadom la reglecha, a footstool for your feet. This is God speaking to King David, not King David writing about someone else speaking to God. So Jesus just didn't understand that.
Yeah, and then if we go right to the very beginning in Genesis, I see Jesus. Yeah, sorry. I mean, if that's okay with you, I don't want to just hang on Psalms. Isaiah.
Are you going to go to Genesis 3:15?
Are you going to be talking about the origin of the universe?
No, and I will put your enmity between you and the woman.
Genesis 3:15.
And between your seed. Yeah, you're right.
Let's break this down word for word here.
Your seed and her seed, and he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel.
Yeah, let's break this down. First and foremost, who's the I in the first verse? I will put. Who's the I?
Is that not God?
That is God. I will put enmity between you. Who's the you here?
Us humans,
No.
mankind.
God is speaking to. Look in verse 14.
Oh, I'm sorry, Satan. Satan.
Well, not Satan. There's no Satan in Genesis.
Okay.
It's a serpent.
Well,
God is speaking
serpent,
to a
Satan.
serpent. Well, the serpent's not
I
Satan.
thought they were the same thing.
No, the book of Genesis never says that the serpent is Satan. I will put enmity. I, God, will put enmity between you, the serpent, and the woman. Who's the woman?
Mm-hmm. Is that not Mary?
No, the woman
Okay.
is throughout all of the chapter. Now the serpent was more subtle than any other wild creature that Yahweh God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God say you shall not eat of any tree of the garden?" Who is the serpent speaking to?
I'm not sure. Enlighten me.
It's Eve. He's speaking to Eve.
Okay.
And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but God said, you shall not eat of the fruit from the tree which is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die." But the serpent said to the woman, "You shall not die." So he's speaking to Eve here. Eve is the woman. So when we go back, it says, God will put enmity between you, the serpent, and the woman. Who's the woman?
I guess it's it's mankind. I guess.
No, the woman is Eve.
Oh, Eve. Sorry. Yeah.
So God will put enmity between you, the serpent, and Eve,
and the woman. Yeah.
and between your seed. So who's the your here?
I'm not sure. Enlighten me.
It's the serpent.
Sure.
And the serpent seed. What is the serpent seed?
I don't know.
It would be other serpents. Serpents give birth to serpents. And her seed. Who's the seed of the woman?
So in my Bible, that's capitalized.
Well, in Hebrew, there are no capital letters.
Okay.
That's an interpretive decision on the part of your Bible translators.
Sure.
More honest translators are not going to capitalize that because her
I'm
seed.
reading from the New King James Version.
Yeah, it's not a good translation. They're going to capitalize.
What would you say is the most accurate translation then?
The New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. But again, there are no capital letters in the Hebrew. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrew doesn't have capital letters. It just has all the same cases. When it says uvein zerecha, between your seed, uvein zera'a, and between her seed, there's no difference between the two seeds here. There's no capital letters. So we shouldn't put that into the English because that's misrepresenting the text. Now, your seed here, and her seed is the seed of the woman, the descendants of the woman. Who is the descendant of the woman?
I guess the Israelites.
Not just the Israelites. Everyone is a descendant of Eve, according to the text. So, God will put enmity or hostility between the serpent and Eve, and between the descendants of the serpent, being other serpents, and the descendant of the woman, being other humans. This is the descendant of, he shall bruise your head. Who's the he? It's the seed of the woman, which are humans. Humans shall bruise the head of the serpent, and you, the serpent, shall bruise the head of shall bruise his heel. All this is telling us is that this is a God saying that there is going to be hostility and enmity between humans and serpents, and that's all the text is about.
As in, like snakes.
Snakes. This is what we call in academic literature an etiology. An etiology is a story that's meant to serve as an explanation for the origin of a phenomenon. In this case, this story serves as an explanation for why women have pain in pregnancy, why men work the field with the sweat on the brow, and why serpents and humans are in contention with one another.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess they didn't foresee that humans would keep snakes as pets.
Yeah. It's not perfect.
Like I don't see enmity there, unfortunately. But I mean, between human beings and snakes.
Well, that was true for the ancient Israelites, so they're just recording their reality.
Sure. I mean, I do agree with you in terms of there being hostility between, human beings and snakes. I'm an African. I'm from South Africa, so snakes can be extremely dangerous creatures.
Yeah.
The black mamba.
And,
all the
and
rest
this
of it. Anyway,
passage is just is meant to give people an explanation for where that hostility started.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I mean, I don't think I've convinced you to believe in the Bible, and that's fair enough. That's absolutely fine. I can, I can live with that. But it seems like you very knowledgeable individual, and you've got a panel of people that are quite knowledgeable. So I mean, all I can tell you is, and I know you're probably not interested, but I've read the Bible cover to cover a few times, and yeah, I mean, it's for me personally, it's changed my life. So in a better way.
It's also changed my life in that I read it and now I'm an atheist, which has greatly changed my life.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not gonna deny you of that. That's a choice that you've chosen to make. So, but
Nope, not a choice. Beliefs aren't choices.
okay, cool. Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Cheers, man.
All right, before we move on to
He was nice enough. Also, Quantonaut, I swear, every time we actually have you up here, no one brings up science.
They're scared. They're scared.
They're running from you.
Look, I can still talk about epistemology, so I'm not entirely useless up here, I think.
Hell yeah. Now
I hope.
Let's see what we got here. At Fern Love Bond with the $5 saying, Isaiah 53 is about me. I had a partner who wanted me to dress up in a French maid's outfit and spanked me. I was a servant. I suffered. Winky face.
Oh,
I saw this in the Discord.
Don't, Fern, you better not say what I responded as, because it was something. I might have said,
I just
me
responded
too.
with, he is the Messiah.
They, them are the pronouns.
I was quoting the GIF.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hell yeah, Fern. I'm all about that. Yeah. Okay, we got Joseph. Joseph, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
You didn't lead with asking him if he's Mary's or Jesus' father.
Oh God, there's 2 Josephs in the Bible. So Joseph, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you actually read?
Fair bit.
And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
What are my pronouns?
Mm-hmm.
Can you enlighten me?
Do you go by he, him, she, her, or they, them?
No, I don't.
You don't go by he, him, or she, her, or they, them? Do people just call you it?
Are you a feminist?
Yes. So that, although that's completely unrelated to the question.
Don't know how.
That's just a question.
Why do you say that like a slur?
Yeah, that's also just a question about grammar. It has nothing to do with
He said that with a
feminism.
hard F.
Wait, what's wrong with feminism?
So when you say I went to the store, would you say to refer to yourself? He went to the store.
If somebody's talking about him, then yeah.
I don't have to believe in your pronouns. That's your term, not mine. Just like what you said about...
what pronouns do you go by?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't go to...
But
no, I don't.
You would would you get mad if people said, Joseph, he doesn't understand how pronouns work? Would you be mad about someone calling you a he?
I don't. Why would I?
Then
That's somebody's... That's somebody pointing
Now,
into me.
if I said,
I
hey,
don't have to
Joseph,
say that.
she's not understanding grammar. Why is she this way?
Would that be accurate
Would you
or
get
incorrect?
That's up to them. That they are entitled to
No,
their own opinion.
I want to
don't-
know what pronouns you go by, Joseph. You're making this so much
don't-
harder than it needs to be. Come on.
Well, I don't have to go with
Yeah,
whatever it is that
yes,
you
you
think
do.
in
If you
your
want,
pronouns.
if
I
you
don't.
if you want to talk to me, then you have to play the pronoun game because we speak and on this channel. On this channel, we speak English, and you can either like be okay with the rules and grammar of English, or I can't talk to you because you're either too stupid to have this conversation, or you're just not honest enough. Which one is it?
Well,
Hey,
here's-
Joseph,
here's-
if I said, "Hey, God, she is a sky daddy," which I know sounds weird. Jesus, she. Would you get
Sky
upset with me if
mommy? No,
yeah, sky
scratch
mommy?
Well, if you can't
If
hear
I-
blasphemy coming out of your mouth just
Oh,
right
that's
there,
blasphemy.
yeah.
That's
Joseph, just
So God has pronouns.
just stop being a coward
I
and tell us
don't.
what your pronouns are.
Jesus. She was one
don't-
son of a bitch.
I
That
don't have to
Jesus.
go with whatever stupid idea in your head to go in
Fun-
something.
English is not a stupid idea, you numbnuts. Just admit. I guess
I just think
Joseph.
it's so funny.
Joseph just admitted that he's too stupid to have the conversation. I'm gonna go with that.
English do
I
be
always
hard.
ask them if they like believe in adverbs as well. Like,
Yeah,
those are parts of speech. Do they not believe in?
Yeah. Well, Joseph, you don't get to spread your Christian propaganda, I guess. Joseph, I'll let you come back up, but you gotta tell us your pronouns, dude. Come on. Let's see if you can do it. I believe in you. What are your pronouns?
I don't. Yeah, just like you don't believe in the Bible.
You don't believe in English? Is that what you're telling us?
You keep using pronouns, Joseph. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Your
is a
entire
pronoun. I is a pronoun.
So what's your third favorite pronouns? Joseph.
I am he
It's like
is
it's
literally
like
an example
it's
of
like,
a pronoun.
It's like, hey, just tell me a word you really like. I don't like words. Like it's your preference.
What is the line of "I am he" in the Bible? Where is that?
Anihu. So the Bible has pronouns in it. God says, "I am he." Anihu. Hu in Hebrew is a masculine pronoun. God uses pronouns. So Joseph, are you better than God or
Not
something?
just using them; he declares what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you then point me to that same verse that you just recited, please?
Let's see.
I think Joseph is saying that he's better than God.
Deuteronomy.
That's not what I said.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. I'm gonna pull it up for everyone to read here, and then after that, you're gonna give me your pronouns, or you're not gonna get to talk to me. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. Funny, God says. And Re'o ataki ani hu. I am he. So God can use pronouns, and God can use pronouns, even though you probably don't think God has a big God dick. So gender has nothing to do with what's between your legs, and pronouns have nothing to do with between your legs. So Joseph, you can either tell me now what your pronouns are, or I'll drop you, and you won't get the chance to talk to me at all.
Okay, very good. Now that's God speaking.
What's your
Can you
pronouns?
then
What's your pronouns?
Nothing.
Bye. Sorry, Joseph.
There's no pronouns, then there's no conversation, right?
Dalton, you know, like what I like to say. If pronouns are what's in between your legs, then I was someone's dad last night.
Maybe Pokechan will be more honest with us than the last guest was. Pokechan, I'm going to ask you the next same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I was just going to show Joseph how it's done. So if you just want to ask me the last one.
Let's show Joseph how it's done. Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I'm not a Bible believer.
Okay, question number 3, Pokechan, how much of the Bible have you read?
A very little. I went to Catholic school.
All right.
Some.
And Pokechan, what are your pronouns?
This one goes out to Joseph. My pronouns are he, him, his.
Fucking.
It's that easy. Lowest bar to clear. Have a great day, y'all. I really enjoy your live.
You too, bud. Oh my god.
Got a little too excited.
See how easy that was? Because I don't think Joseph actually believes in the Bible, because the Bible uses pronouns. And Joseph doesn't believe in pronouns, so Joseph actually doesn't believe in the Bible. Crazy how that works, huh?
I just think it was so funny when he's like, are you a feminist? Like, ugh.
It's crazy. Joseph, what are your pronouns?
I still want to know how the fucking those two. Actually, before you answer that, what does feminism have to do with that? I won't sleep tonight.
All right, the pronouns were made up by stupid feminists.
Oh wait, did the authors of the Bible, were they feminists? Because there are pronouns in the Bible. So if feminists came up with pronouns, then that means feminists wrote the Bible?
No.
The Bible is woke. This is what I've been telling you.
Well, you cited where God said that
I am he. What is he? What is he? What is he?
There's
what is he?
People. I just want to reiterate
Here.
that people who believe that genders are equal made up pronouns. I just want to replace feminist with the definition of feminism, so you hear how stupid that sounds.
I'm going to click on the word who here in Hebrew. It's about hey vav aleph. Let's click on it. What type of speech is it, Joseph? What does it say?
Can you put it in English then? Like interlinear
it's
one?
in English. Look right here. What part of speech? I have it highlighted. What part of
I think
speech?
it's covered up by the boxes.
Well, yeah, that's God speaking.
Okay. Here, wait a minute.
Yeah, we can't see it.
But then can you point me
Joseph,
to somebody
Joseph,
that-
shut up. Hey, Joseph. The word "who" here. What type of speech is it? Look at the. What kind of speech is it?
Teacher, I know. Teacher.
Well, I want to let someone else try to figure this out. Joseph, what is the highlighted word here? What kind of speech is the word "who"?
Well, you could understand
Joseph.
what tense then.
No, I didn't ask about the tense. I asked about the type of speech.
Well, you don't understand what the tense that
Joseph. What kind of speech is that? What is it?
What is it?
Read it. What's it say
Yeah,
right
I
here?
don't know.
I know English is hard for you, Joseph. But what is this word? What is this word right here?
But you got Hebrew on your computer, you stupid.
No, what? I'm not looking at the Hebrew. Underneath the Hebrew, you dumbass. I'm gonna
Well, put
highlight.
it in English,
Here,
you stupid idiot.
this is in English. This is in English. What does it say in English? Right here.
The verse.
It says here.
verse.
No, look on the side. Don't look at the fucking verse. Look at the. I typed
put up
on
the
the.
verse, you
Shut up,
stupid
Joseph. Shut up.
badass.
Shut up, dumbass. Though I know you can't read Hebrew. The part that I have highlighted is not fucking Hebrew. It's the English. What does the highlighted word over here in English say, Joseph?
Third person. Yeah. Okay.
No,
sure.
not third person. Above the third person.
Pronoun.
I was just impressed he could read. If we're all
He
being
did it.
honest here,
He did it. I heard him say it.
It says pronoun.
Honestly,
Okay.
Joseph, you
Well-
reading is honestly the biggest feat of this live. Like, we are impressed.
Well, can you point to another example in the Bible that says the exact same sort of
Yeah,
language?
look at this. All these verses right here is where the Hebrew word "who" shows up.
But who's pointing it
It's now
to?
kind of cut off, but yeah.
Who's pointing it to?
Joseph, everybody uses every language uses like a pronoun or something similar to a pronoun.
Not somebody that.
Wait,
believes in
what
the
do you think a
Bible.
pronoun is?
Yeah.
Didn't you hear him? It's feminism.
Here's a verse. Listen to what it says.
Joseph,
Pronoun
you know
is
you've
when
been
feminism-
using pronouns this entire time, right?
Well, why do I have to say it then?
Joseph, shut up.
Why
Listen,
do I have
Joseph,
to
shut
say
up.
it in
Shut
order
up,
to
Joseph.
talk to you? Nom, nom.
Genesis 14, verse 28. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. What's he? What word is he? What does that mean?
But who's speaking there? Who is speaking?
No one's
Doesn't
speaking.
matter.
It's a narrator.
pronoun.
Nobody is speaking. Exactly. You're telling me to say I am.
Okay, Joseph, you're too stupid. I'm not bringing you back up. I
Oh
don't
my
care how
God.
much you ask. You're banned.
It's good content though.
Okay, yep. That's definitely going.
Yep, that's getting clipped. I'm gonna let the entire internet see how stupid you are. That was wild. And oh, he's in the No, you're not coming back up, Joseph. Not happening. You can
Joseph.
You can sit.
Do
you can
you
sit.
really?
So desperate.
It's because we're feminists. That's why we kicked you and we're banning you. We're all dirty.
I'm not
feminists.
gonna ban him. I'm just gonna let him.
Satanic feminist atheists.
I'm just gonna let him sit in that little request box and listen to us. And also, I'm gonna mute him so he can just sit in the request box.
You're gonna let him sit in your box?
I
don't let men sit in my box that are like that.
Well, I'm built different. What an idiot. Okay.
It's probably a better use of his time, to be honest.
Yeah. At least he'll sit there and listen to us shit on him. At Helping MAGA Deconstruct with the $2. I'm glad
You
Joseph
never said
isn't.
him, though.
I'm glad Joseph is an incel for society's sake.
I just did it myself.
Oh yeah, you did. I'm just going to refer to Joseph as an it because it refused to give us its pronouns. So there's that. Boop. Anyways.
Ooh. I know what really tick it off. Neo-pronouns.
Oh yeah, Z
Like
did not
Z,
want to
Zer,
give me
and all that.
Zer pronouns.
One can only presume that that's what they want to be called. They.
Gravity Ben says, I do love the ones who just won't say their pronouns. Most entertaining part. It is entertaining to just like they put on full display that they just don't understand. Not only do they not understand the Bible, they don't even understand the English language. And if someone doesn't understand the English language, they're probably just too stupid to talk to.
It's a good litmus test.
I love that he's still in my box, that he thinks he's going to come back up. Fun fact, Joseph, you're not going to come back. In fact, Joseph,
Why do you continuously say they're in my box?
they're in my box. Because it's true, they are in my box.
It sounds so dirty.
Joseph's in my box.
What do you?
Joseph,
you, box is a
Joseph,
euphemism
you're so gay for sitting in my box, Joseph. W for Joseph being a part of the community. Love that.
Accidental ally.
Accidental ally. Anyways.
Wait, Slice, how did it get wet, Slice?
I get wet for stupidity. Hey Dalton, love the cooking going on tonight. I never miss a love. Koshka, you are always here, and I appreciate that. Only dirty if you have a gutter mind, and the gutter is the best place to be. Dalton is Joseph is so desperate to be in Dalton's box.
If anyone's in the Discord live chat, they know how many times I write in italics, "Don't say dirty joke" in the chat.
I've seen it.
Joseph is soaking. Atheism means denying that you yourself exist. That's not what that means, Starlight. I don't think you know what atheism is. Like, you clearly don't know what atheism is. How does me not believing in your God also mean that I don't believe that I exist? Make that make sense, Starlight.
So Descartes walked into a bar.
Or did he?
And the bartender asked him, "Would you like a drink?" And he said, "I think not," so he disappeared.
I was like, what? I didn't know what you meant by Descartes for a second there, but now I get it. David Orbit says, I used to have visions of Jesus, but after a neurological ablation, it stopped. What's a neurological ablation?
Ablation is when you like get a part of the brain, you like burn it or remove it.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. What'd Starlet say again? Something else silly. There is no your God or my God, only the Creator. Sorry, Starlet, but no, your God doesn't exist, and he's not my God, and he's not the creator of jack shit. You just sitting here.
Wait, did they say a chemical ablation or like a regular? I wasn't listening all the way.
Neurological ablation. Oh, lobotomy.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of like a little
I got to show this, by the way. A few days ago, I 3D printed my own brain.
There's no gyri or Solci.
It's a low resolution scan. I promise it's not actually smooth.
Smooth brain, no ridges or
And I
bumps
promise
or
this isn't
valleys
to
and
scale
humps.
either.
Have y'all seen?
All ideas.
Have y'all seen
flow right off
a
like a water slide?
Have y'all seen a koala's brain?
Yes.
Is it smooth? Because
Yeah.
it feels
Very,
big.
very smooth.
I think so, yeah.
Everyone, I'm going to show you a picture of Joseph's brain. It's going to say koala, but it's actually Joseph's brain.
I feel like that's generous.
There you go. Not a single ridge. Yeah. There you go. No ridges or bumps, no valleys or lumps. All ideas slide right off.
And see, right over here, that's where all the Bionicle knowledge is stored.
I used to collect Bionicles when I was a wee lad.
Oh,
My guy, I am the biggest Bionicle nerd you'll ever meet. I own original storyboard frames from the movies.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I literally have, within, like, hand distance, Bionicle sets.
Wait, was that the koala cerebellum at the back? Or was that the brain stem and spinal cord?
I think it was the brainstem. At Trump failed, ha ha, with the $2. Bose was a member of Smosh. Oh, really? Now I gotta.
Yeah, they had said that earlier.
Bose.
I don't remember who Bose is either.
Me
So
neither.
you're not alone on that.
Oh, she's from way back in Smosh days. I started watching Smosh after Rhett and Link purchased them. So I don't know people.
You're not OG.
No, so okay. In high school, I watched some of the original Smosh skits. Shut up, you know. But
yeah, shut up.
But like after around high school, I stopped watching for a long time and did not pick up Smosh again until after the Defy whole situation happened with Defy. So I only know a couple people from the area, like Lasercorn and Sarah Whittle and stuff like that.
I've only seen a couple of their Try Not to Laugh games.
Oh, I've watched so many of them. Although, you know what was really...
those are good.
Here's a real crazy little Smosh fact, for in case no one knows it, because I learned it and it blew my mind. Y'all know that old meme of two guys sitting in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
5 feet apart because they're not gay.
That's
Yep.
Anthony Padilla saying that. That's him. That's him. He made that video.
Icon.
What an OG icon. Absolutely.
Okay, I need to know in the chat if this is like a normal thing to say. Domino's, you're my favorite pizza place. Just to randomly say that. Am I the only one that does that?
You're my favorite pizza place.
Favorite pizza place.
You're my favorite
Oh,
pizza
yeah,
place.
I remember that.
You're my favorite pizza place. Hey, so you must be the new guy here. I love that song. Oh my god. Oh, anyways, it looks like we got no more Christians. So I think we're gonna end the live for today. As much fun as this has been, I need to make dinner for myself. So everyone, let's take a look and see who's live right now that we can send a raid over to. Let's take a look. YouTube. Oh, not YouTube. What am I thinking? TikTok. Oh.
TikTok.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. There's Joel Reeves. There's Imp Atheist. Dean Withers. Tiny Science. Stotsky. Deconstruction's also live. Where is he live at?
Stotsky doesn't typically do deconstruction.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, everyone.
Stotsky's cool. You should go follow Stotsky for sure.
Everyone followed Stotsky. But I'm going to send you all over to Joel. Tell him the Bible guy sent you again. And make sure that you're following Quantanaut, Ashland, and Micaiah. And you're following me. And you're following the YouTube channel. And I guess we'll see you guys again on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. With that, I've been the Bible guy. And remember, everyone, to keep reading and keep learning. And happy holidays.
Bye.
And that's and for the TikTok stream. So now I get to talk to all you lovely and beautiful people out there on YouTube. Sad when At the Bible Guys box is empty. I know we'll have to work hard to get my box filled in the future, guys. But if you want for like the content to go on longer, even when I don't have guests, just send me some super chats and I'll read out whatever the hell y'all say. Just for funsies. Anyways, though, I have had fun. Make sure everyone that you're all over to Joel the Bible Guys. He might be live on YouTube. I don't know if he goes live on YouTube as well, but if he does, go there. If he's not, go to YouTube and watch him. But we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Love you guys. I thank you so much for all the super chats and for all the support. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you lovely, lovely people. Tomorrow, if you're a member of the YouTube channel, you can expect to see another Bible Guy video dropping, and then for the rest of you who aren't members, you'll be able to get access to that video on Friday. So have a good day.